The Tape Never Lies Network.
The tape never lies. Tape never lies.
Starts now.
The tape never lies.
Nope! Nope!
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
So chase greatness and start understanding that he's gonna make everybody better.
Tape never lies.
I don't want to see your tape breakdowns if you cannot show me things that are negative about a guy that's on your current team.
Hashtag chase greatness. Hashtag take that.
Keep it 100.
Because I'll make this one more time clear. Caden Whitlow, cut it.
Keeping it 100.
He is the best quarterback I have ever scouted on tape.
The Chicago Bears select.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keep it in 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the fake and anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now they're moused up like the true and now and latest. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up or down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane.
Give me some fucking names.
When you
Two
break it
fucking
down,
games.
fuck a play or a captain, all of the up there. The tape never lies, the truth you see. We laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trip sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping
man.
it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100. Down there.
Draft
I don't
Dr.
know if that
Phil.
right foot actually touched the ground.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keeping It 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network, the best four-letter network on the planet. I'm Ivan Vargas. We got him back. All right, there was some technical difficulties, but we got our boy back. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Become a patron at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Been a long week for me. I know it's been a long week for Shane. He's had some shit going on. Phil should be with us shortly, but let's go ahead and bring out our guy, Shane, the smartest man. Marcel, what's up, bud?
Yo, I'm back. What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
I hit go live and then all hell literally broke loose right there in the last second. I don't know if you could see me reacting, and then everything in my house shut down and we lost power, but generator was on and I think we seem to be back online and ready to go.
Well, that's good, because I didn't know what the fuck I was going to talk about for 3 hours or however long we're going to be on.
13 minutes. Who knows? I don't know where the third part of this show is. I haven't heard from him, but let me look. Huh,
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean,
anyways, we're
he
here.
got
We
swept away by the wind. I didn't even know how.
Yeah, not gonna take much to blow him away. But man, interesting week in Chicagoland, Ivan. The the new man on the block, Ben Johnson, comes out and says, I'm not too concerned about measurables.
Mhm.
I'm more concerned about the tape. And that's kind of what we love to hear around these parts. That's what we're based on. That's what we're all about. So we love to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I expect them to do their due diligence. Will there be guys that we definitely need as far as positional need? Of course, I think they're going to definitely add some more linemen because we need it. But if there was going to be a shot at maybe a special, a specialist type of guy, a running
Yeah.
back, I wouldn't be shocked, even though I would frown upon it. Like I would heavily frown upon it because I think there's a lot of things we can do. But you never know. The Bears could be just playing games. It is still
Oh yeah.
relatively early, a couple weeks away, but they still have time. So they could be just kind of biding their time and setting everybody else up for failure while they, move chess pieces elsewhere. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I like what Ben is where his mindset is.
Yeah, me too. And I think, people get so involved in dissecting every single word, and you really shouldn't this time of year when you're a couple of weeks out from the NFL draft. You're going to get very few morsels that are, actually truthful in terms of, what direction you're looking at. And listen, these guys are all very, very scripted. Talking points are gone over before Ben Johnson was, even available to the media. So Hallis Hall has been a place that's always been locked up tight. There hasn't been a lot of stuff that's gotten out, and I don't think this is going to be any different. I think people that say they know and people that say they know how the Bears board is set up, yeah, no, you don't. Just like we don't.
Right. And I mean, to be honest, we have a general idea, of where they're going to go. But as far as which player specifically, no, I mean, they could like one guy's, measurables, to another. Obviously, personality matters and these interviews matter, but we don't know who they're targeting right now. All we could do is speculate. But it is fun to do that. It is fun to do that because there's so many players I feel like in this draft that can help us.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's why for me, sitting at 10 isn't the way to go. I just feel like you could maximize what you get out of this draft and add more quality players than
Sure.
you would have sitting at 10. And that's not to say we have to, we're jumping out of the first round or anything. Just I always have held the idea of falling back to about middle to late like that about 18 would be my kind of cutoff. But those
Yep.
middle teens to late teens, that's kind of where I would be at. And I think you could still get quality players.
Yeah, and the big thing too is it just, hey, we both know it takes two to tango, and you got to see, what's another team moving up for. Uh, you're starting to hear an awful lot more about Jackson Dart, not only going in the first round, but there's places that have him going in the top 10 as a quarterback in this draft. So if you get to 10 and I don't know, a team like Pittsburgh that wants an heir apparent to who very likely is going to be Aaron Rodgers or whomever, what are they moving up for? And the problem is in this draft is we've broke it down for about a month now. There's a lot of similarities. I don't want to say that it's equal value, but there is a lot of similarities. Like you said, you feel like a guy that you get at 10, you're going to be overjoyed with because you can probably get him at 18, but other teams know that too. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't know. There's only a couple of, if the Bears go corner at 10, I'm going to be pissed. I don't know how that's explained. I don't know how you warrant it. I understand you can never have enough cover corners. I get that, but the Bears have a lot of talent there. They have a lot of young talent. For them to come away at pick 10 with a cornerback, I would have a big fucking problem with it.
Oh no, the cornerback to me, I don't think that's I don't think that's realistic at all. And let's go
Yeah.
ahead and bring out our guy DDP. I don't think that's realistic at all, Shane. I think what the Bears are going to do is they're obviously going to bring back Stevenson, but they're going to make sure Stevenson is held accountable this go around because he has talent. But obviously,
that's why you bring in a guy like Al Harris.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But obviously, he has these fleeting moments where he makes mistakes. So you bring in a guy like Al Harris, you bring in more accountability. You bring in a new defensive coordinator. Now you can't just sit there and do the same old BS. You have to do. But for me, the reason they won't take a corner is Kyler Gordon. They got to sign Kyler Gordon, and I would be the first one to say, hey, that's a good signing because I think Kyler Gordon before he got hurt was going to I think he was on that trajectory to have a hell of a season.
Totally agree. Mr. Atoshin, what's it rhyme with? Rhymes with lotion. Welcome to the show.
What's up?
You and I both lost power.
Oh, you did?
Ivan and I were talking. And I said, all right, let's roll. And I hit go live and everything froze on my end and everything in the house shut down immediately. I was like, oh, it's going to be Ivan's show tonight after he told me how tired he was.
I was helping Steph because of the shoulder harness and all that. She's in a lot of pain. She hurt her eye somehow.
Oh, shit.
Her eye?
Yeah. I think because she left her contact in. Now she can't see light. It's the whole thing here. Then I go into the studio and I figured it out. It was the cat stepped on the power plug.
Oh, and we actually lost our power here. When my power goes out, my generator kicks on automatically. So that whole process went through and then it's back already. So yeah, I was out for a couple of minutes, but we're ready to roll once again.
Oh yeah. What have you gotten into?
We're just talking a little bit about Ben Johnson, about what potential, they could do at 10. Ivan was talking about a trade down, and when you popped in, what we were covering was I would be very upset if the Bears decided to go cornerback at 10. I know we've talked about Genty. I would take Genty over Warren. I would take Warren over a cornerback at 10 if they had to stick and pick. That's just me. I am not drafting a fucking corner at 10.
Yeah, I'm not there either.
I don't want to draft a safety either, but I think that there can be I think you can make much more of a case for safety at 10 than you can corner. That's where I'm at there. And I wouldn't do safety at 10 either.
No, I'm at the point I don't think I've ever been here in my life where I'm listening to these analysts and radio guys, and I don't think I've ever been this frustrated before listening to them fill in analysis with bullshit. It's just on a level that I've never seen in my life.
But you know what I think it is, Phil? You know what I think it plays into? I think it plays into the way that this draft is structured. It's not top heavy. Like last year, you knew that the quarterbacks were going to lead the charge. You knew it was going to be Caleb. You knew it was going to be Jaden, Drake May, that whole thing. Then Bo Nix and Michael, Michael Penix being drafted by Atlanta, kind of, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but there was a lot of surprise people. There's not that in this draft. I mean, it's pretty much consensus right now that Cam Ward's going number 1. But then who's going number 2? You can say Abdul Carter. There's a lot of smoke around that a medical issue with Abdul Carter's foot, and that he's going to be the guy that everybody's going to be like, why is he dropping on draft day now? Is it smoke? Is it bullshit? The foot portion of it's not bullshit because that showed up at the combine. That's where it was discovered. Now, is it a major concern? We'll see. But we don't know who's going 2, 3, 4, 5. It's Cam Ward, and then who the fuck knows? And I think that is what's creating a lot of the fervor with people, is because people are more concerned about being right than putting out proper analysis. Oh, I got to be the first one on Membu. I got to put him out there before anybody else. Who gives a shit? That's not the way that it's done. That's not the way that it's ever meant to be done.
Well, if we go, and we'll go back and look in the past after this draft, we take a look back. I mean, even if you go back 2 years and look at the guys that are drafted and see where people had them, you know, I always look at where I analyzed the person and didn't measure out.
Yeah.
And I learned from that. All these, I'm just looking at a lot of blog boys out there just regurgitating bullshit. I mean, it's infuriating to listen to. Ivan got me all fired up this morning because there's Shay Snorling talking about fucking Ashton Genty and not putting any respect on Ashton Genty in the same sentence. It's like a get out of free jail card for freaking ridiculous analysis. You're not putting your stamp to it. He only averaged 3.5 yards per carry, Shane, against Penn State. I know he went over $100 there, but he didn't have any big runs. So you gotta look in Boise State. And then what does my boy Shane say? He just drops the mic on Snorling's head. Now I'll drop the tape on him, but it's like, where would Boise be without Genty, jackass?
Not in the college football playoff.
Where the fuck would they be? He's carrying the whole fucking team. He's the best running back in the draft. He's doing it with 9-man boxes. He said there wasn't many 8-man boxes. I counted 27.
On top of that, Boise State's offensive line wasn't anything to go home about. So,
but that's he's like, well, he's not, he's not going to be able to do what he did at Boise in the NFL. Well, that's you texted in real time. Well, no fucking shit, Shay.
Maybe he's better, Shay. He could. Maybe he gets to an NFL line.
Well, guess what?
He's big and as athletic as he is. He fucking takes down the whole narrative.
Do the Bears have more talent surrounding Ashton Genty on offense than Boise did? Of course they do.
Fucking yeah, they do.
Of course they do. But that's the thing. But people hear that, and then it's gonna. And listen, I'm the guy. I'm not going running back at 10. There is a pathway. I get it. That it could happen on draft day. It's not my number one option. It's just not. And that is not a slight. And I've said it 100 times at Ashton Genty. He's the number one back in this draft class very comfortably in my rankings.
He's my number one. Yes. In a deep draft, this is the other thing I want to say. Okay. I'm not like anybody else. Me and Shane could debate this. It goes back to the Brock Bowers clause. When you see these kind of elite talents that are different, those are blue chip pluses. Like you just, even if you have an amazing tight end talent with a fucking podcast named Cole Kmet, right? Even, he's so good. We just saw. You still draft the blue plus player because that's how you build championship rosters. The Bears, and Shane and I have talked about this for years. The Bears have always tried to fucking finagle the smart gene clause. We're going to go to Southwest Missouri and find this guy when there's just a football player sitting right in your face. And it's the same thing. Listen, I know it goes against a lot of what Shane is saying, but at the end of the day, I think Shane will be fine with it. For me, it's like, I don't know their board, meaning Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson. I do not trust Ryan Poles at all. I don't
should
trust
you.
George
should you.
McCaskey with 1 inch. He infuriates me, his presence alone. I have a lot to say about him later in the show. But the trust is not there. They're a bunch of frauds standing in front of us talking football. Now we've learned it. Now we've learned how to do this the right way after how many tries? No, I still have pause with this because when you get to the podium on a draft night, you better look at fucking football players and stop with this ceiling shot that you're trying to find. Because guess what? Adam Shaheen didn't work out. The odds of him working out were about 12%. And you took that shot. And meanwhile, you got a guy from Iowa blowing up the RAS scores, blowing up on tape, and you pass on that for a guy for Division III. So George Kittle goes to the wayside. You had Adam Shaheen. Those things are fatal.
And what made it worse, Phil, is you took the swing of all swings at number 2 overall with Mitch. You had such a separator, and then you followed it up with another massive swing with Adam Shaheen. That was the problem. You weren't
Shea McClellan.
Listen, you take your swing. I get it.
Syracuse.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Shea McClellan, the kid from Kevin White, and who else was there? There was another good receiver there that actually showed up on tape. If we look at that trend.
Yeah.
If we look at it's the same thing with these guys. Let's take this other guy. And Shane and I were talking about this, and I'm like, we need to talk about this more on the show. We could go look at the draft history. The Chicago Bears will have a guy like Jack Sawyer, Cam Scattaboo, who a football players sitting there in the second round. Our guy Fannin Jr. No, let's take this corner.
Well, the way that we talked about it, Phil. So, and everybody's making a big deal. The Bears have 10, 39, and 41.
Right.
And in normal Chicago Bears fashion, so if you love the way that the direction they go at number 10, in their history, back when Jerry Angelo was around, or Phil Emery, or whomever, Ryan Pace, with one of those next 2 picks, maybe you love the pick at 41, but that pick at 39, nobody is gonna fucking see coming. That's the way that they've been. Do you remember the fucking defensive tackle from LSU that Phil Emery, he drafted Will Sutton from Arizona State, and then who was the other defensive tackle from LSU?
Ego
Ferguson.
Ego Ferguson.
I had Ego Ferguson as a 5th rounder the way that I graded him. And the Bears took him in round 2. I couldn't fucking believe it. But it's, again,
all of us couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's
and then you're just
Roosevelt Williams way back in 2002 from Tuskegee, the corner. Like, what? Where's that?
And that's been the Bears' MO. Ego Ferguson is in the days where we were limited on tape.
Yeah.
So think about this. Now I'm coming from, okay, we have at TTNL 50% or 40% of what they have. So I know I could be critical of them because Omarion Hampton, for 85% of this population, is talked about as a first round pick. He is not even he's not in my top 5 running backs. He's not.
Me either.
He's not there. So because I'm watching tape now, back 7-8 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, I saw in Carolina, he played really good, saw his highlights. Maybe I got 1 game tape 7 years ago. But now, knowing that the Jets, the Bears, the Browns, the Chiefs, the Eagles all have the tape. They get to sit down and meet with these guys. They got background, and they still fucking miss with these huge, completely soft as puppy shit swings. It's embarrassing. That's the team you cheer for. And if you think, and we took a lot of heat for this, and I know George isn't making picks, but George is way too soft and thinks football is some freaking 1920s gentleman shaking hands and having a freaking suit on. That ain't this world, George. So swearing and telling the motherfucking guard to pull and trap and kick out the fucking defensive end or get the fuck out of the locker room is going to offend you, then you go sit upstairs, eat the popcorn, and truly just be a fan, because you couldn't have the hardcore coaches before, like Bruce Arians. That means what, Ivan? He couldn't have those hardcore football players that might not be choir boys. We're taking this guy off our board.
It just shows that they weren't having those hard conversations. It just goes to show you that at a certain point, one side had to cave in because the other side wasn't going to go any further. And that's been the miscommunication between, I think, coaching staffs and the front office, and then, between the coaches and the players. It's just all been a shit show. So hopefully with them having Warren, them having Poles, and now with Ben Johnson, their communication, those three in particular on the football side, will be better than what George and Ted and Phil Emery and all these guys that have come in the past have done. Because right now, we like what we hear, we like what we see, especially with Ben Johnson. We still need to play the games. We still need to see how it operates. But I'll give him this credit, right? He was able to humble himself enough to be like, I cannot be full, like I can't have involvement in certain aspects of football, right? And that's something that I'd give him credit for, because he found guys to do it.
Don't let me forget about George later in the show, because I definitely have some things to say about it.
Well, if you listen to him today, he ain't going anywhere for the next 100 years. So
yeah, okay.
You're gonna have time
I believe
to talk
George. The last person I believe is George. But I'm gonna say this. Watching, and Ivan's 100% right. Ben Johnson is my only hope. Honestly. And you ever have a boy that you're friends with, you're real tight all the time, and then something transpires, and maybe he goes hangs out with these other dudes, and you know exactly who those other dudes are and what is going to transpire for that motherfucker if he follows that energy of that circle. And that's what I'm afraid. The energy of this circle of the Bears is going to kind of hinder Ben Johnson's ego. You can't let that happen, Ben. If they say no and you say yes, if Cam Scatterboo is your guy, this guy reminds me of David Montgomery, just twitchier. If that's your guy, Ben, and they're saying, I don't know, there's a couple of stories about him partying or whatever. I'm making that up, so please don't. You got to fight through that. Like, you have to be the head coach and you have to clean up the mess. I'm trying to Kyler Gordon's a good pick. By what are Ryan Pohl's staple picks? Kyler Gordon, Darnell Wright. What else?
Yeah, I mean, well, listen,
Stevens is kind of a thing. Brisker is kind of a thing, right?
Well, it's hard to hold injuries. I mean, I know Jaquan had some issues in college, but yeah, no, that's the thing, Phil. Nobody should sit here and say that you have faith in Ryan Poles, because take the player acquisition, take that away. Has he added talent to the roster? Yes. Has he acquired talent? Has he fucked up trades? Yes. Has he had bad draft picks? Yes. The be-all, end-all is the Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus. It's bringing Flus back, and then it's your first move when you secure the number 1 pick, when you empty out, you flush away the offensive staff. Nobody had a problem with them doing that. But then your first move is Shane Waldron. And it was so bad, it didn't last through OTAs. And nothing was done. And then you have the gall enough to come out and say, yeah, we had the number 1 pick in the draft. We were fucking lucky as hell to get it. But you know what? We skipped some of the steps in the process that we shouldn't have in training camp. That means you're shitty at your job. Maybe
100%.
Don't have your golf clubs in your fucking office in training camp for everybody to see. I know. I'm
That's
just saying.
a great point.
It's fucking
that's what I'm afraid
fireable
of.
right there.
I'm afraid of that circle, Shane, taking Ben Johnson, just like I was giving you that analogy.
The biggest thing now is, Phil,
this is how it is as a coach.
Ben Johnson has the fucking juice. Ryan Poles does not. He does. He's got the contract.
I think
he's got the money.
He likes Poles. I just hope he has
he's walked away from jobs that he could have got. That's
all right. That's a check mark in it. I know me. I'm grateful. George and Ryan gave me the job. I felt like Ryan Poles should have been fired, just like I thought Eberflus should have been fired before you
100%.
drafted and high, right? So I thought Ryan Poles.
When you secured the number 1 pick, the fucking first move you make is, Matt, hey, it didn't work out. Thank you. We're moving on.
100%.
What do they say when players? Oh, hey, this is a
so
business.
He fucked up
it's not
there,
personal.
Shane.
Right. That's where it started.
Then Waldron, as your point, at the draft, and remember the whole fucking Velus Jones not trading him. Like, you could have traded this dude.
We knew how that shit was going on draft night, the night that they drafted him. My point exactly, when we're talking about a pick out of fucking nowhere, there was nobody that had Velus Jones ranked in the fucking 3rd round. Pick what, 72? I think he went.
We have the 72nd pick again, or 71. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want to know the bad part in that draft? The Bears made a trade with Buffalo. The pick that they gave Buffalo, they drafted Khalil Shakur. You think we could use him? And I know, listen,
I love that dude.
Of course they did. We had Waldman.
And we loved him on the show with
Go back and watch our draft coverage that night live. When the Bears took Velus Jones, I wanted to vomit. Somebody asked Waldman, Waldman, what do you like? He's like, well, if you like a gadget player that's fast but can't catch the football and is wildly inconsistent and is old, I guess he's your guy.
That was his quote. And he
will drafted him in the top 80 picks. I could be wrong, but I thought I have 72 in my head for some reason.
It was in the 3rd round, so it was high. Maybe Anthony Gordon or what's my guy's name? Fuck. Morales.
Pick 71.
Wait, don't we own the 71st pick again?
No, 70. We have 39, 41, and what is it, 72?
Yeah, 72.
Oh, right after. See, I had it reversed because you said. But yeah, for me, I want to address David. I'm not going to calm the fuck down. Not that you said fuck. I don't know that he has the juice. I want to believe Shane, but he's surrounded by a bunch of fucking nincompoops.
Well, my point is, Phil, the way that you have to look at it, and it's the ultimate mic drop on who has the juice. The next person to be fired isn't going to be Kevin Warren. It's not going to be Ben Johnson. The next guy to be fired is going to be Ryan Poles.
Oh, yeah.
He's 100%. The next up.
100%.
And at that point, I don't know if you're looking for another GM. Like, I mean, maybe
You
that there's
have
a
to, yeah,
relationship. Maybe there's a
gotta
but
have.
if we're talking about Juice, maybe there's a relationship that gets built between Warren and between Johnson. I'm just
Yeah.
speculating. It's
I'm not a
you
fan
know.
of. I'm not a fan if they go and listen. I'm giving Ben Johnson every benefit of the doubt to
Right.
shape this roster in his image. Do I want to turn over complete authority to Ben Johnson? And no, I don't. I don't.
Mhm.
I don't like that at all because I think you have to have. I mean, you hear it with Phil and I. You know, Phil and I have back and forth all the time. Feels like I got to have this guy. I got to have this. I need this. I need this. And then you have to have the other guy that's going to look at it from a personnel point of view. That's like, all right, well, we can wait here. We're going to be fine. I can get your guy. We're not going to draft him at 12
Right.
when I can get him at 48. Well, that's my guy. I'm going to fucking win with him. That's what you need. But we'll see. Listen. Ryan Poles isn't going anywhere right now. You got him. We have him. He's the guy. He's got the fucking radar lock on his forehead. Can't fuck it up. Is he going to go out and swing for the fences at 10? I mean, like we were talking about, you really think his pick at 10 is going to be a fucking cornerback? There's no way. Can't do it. Can't do it. Protect your investment. When in doubt, protect your investment. That's where I'm at. Is Braxton good enough? No, he's not. Can Karan be better? Yes, he can. Is he preventing me?
Polls addressed Karan, made sure he addressed Karan today.
And so did Ben Johnson. He did you hear him?
I heard him
call out
correctly
Braxton.
analyze Braxton.
Yeah, we're going to challenge him to put on some more weight so he can anchor better. Guess what? That's been your issue since you've been in the fucking league.
Exactly. I was just
going to say, not an indictment.
Why isn't Ryan Poles doing that?
That's an indictment on Ryan Poles.
Exactly.
He's the leftover. Right. Exactly.
And Chris Morgan, who Ryan Poles is drooling over, and Eberflus is having fucking pancakes and honey with from his beehive. The fact of the matter is, all of it reeks to me, and I think it's important that the Chicago Bears fans have a pause too. Like, I'm not. Are you not learning? Oh, let's just believe and have faith. I've had so much faith when others told me I'm crazy, and I'm like, no. And they were right. The Bears were a mom and pop shop, no matter how you try to pretty it up, of bullshit, soft decision making, silly, dumb, non-football, more political garbage, straight up trash. It's bananas how we had to watch this team function over the last 15 seasons. You have an exchange, a chairman who's the son of the owner, who's nowhere to be seen or heard from, talking about Olin Kreutz. Take him with a grain of salt, that he's lying, when the GM that you fired is telling the world that no, what Olin's saying is the truth. Right then and there, George, you lose so much credibility. You've yet to apologize for it. You continue to raise ticket prices as if you've been some consistent winner. You did the right thing by trading Justin Fields the fuck out of here, but you only got a 6th-round pick when supposedly you could have gotten a bigger pick for it.
Speaking of Justin Fields, how would you like to be a New York Jets fan today when your owner comes out and openly lies? He's everybody in the free world.
Who has it worse, Jets or Bears fans?
Oh my God. But can you imagine your owner coming out and saying, hey, listen, when we were drafting, it was down to Trevor Lawrence and Justin for us. You had the second pick in the draft, and you didn't draft Justin. You drafted the other guy.
He drafted, what was his name? Who we would never have drafted from BYU.
Yeah, whoa, Jesus, what was his?
Jesus
What is
Christ.
his name? He's still playing, but he's bouncing around the league. But can you imagine that? That's coming from your owner. Zach Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
But you come out and tell everybody that, yeah, it was down to Justin and Trevor Lawrence for us. Whoops. How'd Zach Wilson's name get on that card? What?
How did that happen, Shane?
Yeah.
So just for non-patrons, okay, in the realm of what I believe I can hang my hat on because I'm going to be right about it, my top 5 left tackles that are all left tackles and tackles in the NFL. Not one of them is a guard. Not one. But we've dealt with guard talk. Just like the shitty Chicago Bears moved Kyle Long to guard. You had a fucking diamond right in your fucking hands. And you put him at guard. And you kept him there. It's the same thing. You're going to play the soft clown at left tackle, speed bump Charlie, and you're going to continue to go down these roads, Jamarcus Webb, and you've never solidified it. No matter what these Field Yates and Adam Hogue and all these people are talking about offensive tackles, put them in a room with me. Let's sit down, because Armand Membu is not an offensive tackle in the first round. He might be a tackle someday. He has measurables. He is an athletic talent. His tape, though, is putrid. It's lazy. It lacks effort. There's not a showcase of want to.
But he had a good 40 time, Phil.
No, there'll be 2 plays that he does. Oh, he pancakes someone. And the very fucking next play that nobody's watching in their fucking highlight film with Pancake Boy, he's fucking whiffing on a fucking outside zone stepping wrong, falling to the ground. Then there's a reverse play. It's coming back. You know who he blocks? Nobody. 0. Are they showing you this stuff? We are. Every fucking person that is a patron. How many of them have done? How many patrons have you seen mock Membu to the Bears?
Yeah, they have.
Maybe Mike Huff. That's it. I'm kidding. I got it.
He just ripped his keyboard off his table and threw it.
No one did. No one will. Because they saw the tape with Big Steve Edwards, former Bear. They ain't watching Pancake Boy break down highlights with an old man. Let's look at some highlights here. Look at how fast this guy is. So he's not, spoiler alert, not even in my top 10. I would never draft Armand Membu, no matter how athletic, because when I watch his tape, I see the Membu line, a.k.a. Mike Haynes, former first round, doesn't love the
We know.
doesn't
We
love
know,
the
Mike.
game.
We know.
Doesn't love the game of football. And when you have those types of showcases on tape, it's just the same as a running back, Amarian Hampton, who goes down so easy.
Oh, man.
Let's put Amarian Hampton's tape on and put Jaden Blue's tape on.
Yeah, it's
like
there's no comparison. There's
one
none.
guy's 35 pounds lighter and runs 60,000 times hotter with more effort and power. How? Determination. He loves the game. Got great 40, great hands. Jaden Blue over Amari and Hampton every day, all day. Never would that happen with intangibles. I've been around NFL people my whole life. You are going to be shocked. You got to read some books and hear some of these stories about guys that don't know anything about football are scouting for NFL teams, learning as they go, watching highlights, drafting on highlights. You think the fucking owner of the Jets is fucking crazy? Think about all these other guys. How many other people are in the NFL making decisions that are shoe salesmen?
Yeah.
You laughed when I said it about Nagy. I got criticized like
George
nobody else.
George said it himself. I'm not a football evaluator. I'm just a fan. And you're the guy that was employing Ted Phillips. That was choosing your head coach.
Please, I gotta save it for
after
later.
year after year. But so yeah,
real quick, let me just give him, and then we're gonna bring out our guest. So Kelvin Banks is the number one left tackle in this draft. I'm gonna show a sentence. I'm gonna paraphrase Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper said on his show, this is his, and I'm not exactly quoting it. I'm going to paraphrase it. Mel Kiper, you know what, Fielding, coming into this season, preseason-wise, it was Kelvin Banks all by himself at left tackle. It wasn't even a doubt. I mean, when you look at this guy, he had everything. He had all the intangibles, everything he wanted to bring to the table. When you talk about the size, you look at the arm length, everything he has. Then he gets into the season. He's playing pretty well, but then he has a poor season. Where's the poor season? There is no poor season. Show me. I'll take 4 games. Boom, boom, boom. I have to have 4. With Banks, I took 8. 8. Show me the poor technique and fundamentals and effort. There is none, guys. There's mistakes.
And what did Bruce Feldman come out with today? With people at Texas that he talked to.
Oh, yeah, he
was playing through a serious ankle issue all season.
And putting out that tape where my father, Steve, me, you are sitting there and we're just like, oh my God. I mean, look at this kid, his ability, his athleticism. Now, I don't know him personally at all. I don't know his agent. I have no horse in this race other than that tape that says to me, that's a blue chip. 21, just turned 21, played through an injury all year, took you to the playoffs. If your offensive coordinator is not a dumb jackass, you probably win. You're on the fucking goal line. And the play selection there, let me remind you of that. And Kelvin Banks is just bullying motherfuckers up and down, using his feet, cutoff blocks. I mean, anything you're asked to do in the NFL, it's there. It's not close. Then your number 2 tackles Will Campbell and his short arm conspiracy. And I could go into that. I don't want to keep the guests waiting. Then is our guy, the TTNL. He is like my heart. Like, if I had to choose any guy in the whole draft, this guy sets the tone for me and is right there on the cusp, and that's Ariante Ursery. Ursery is your number 3 pick. I mean, Armand Membo can't hold a candle to those 3. I'm not even done. Then you got Josh Connerly of Oregon. Then it's Josh Simmons of Ohio State. Then you could put his teammate that's a guard that could play tackle, and another Ohio State kid. There is plenty of talent at offensive tackle in this draft, but there ain't a blue chip plus player. And for me, Banks, Campbell, and Ursery all have that for the offensive tackle, left tackle position, Shane. And I gave you my Mel Kiper impression, and I'm giving you straight with my face, my name to it.
Yeah.
Blue plus. Those three have
Yeah.
blue plus. They're going to be stars in the NFL at the tackle position. Guess where Mel Kiper conveniently had Kelvin Banks falling to? Who can guess? Think of who took him in his mock.
I didn't see Mel's, but I know
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. And then he becomes
Feldman had Banks going 25th. Now Feldman's mock was, he says his is he goes from team to team, talks to scouts, talks to people connected with the franchise, people in the know, and we'll see how this develops. If he drops, he drops. Excellent players drop all the time. It happens in the NFL, and they fall into the lap of the Philadelphia Eagles, of the Baltimore Ravens, of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, all these guys. Feldman, who did Feldman have the Bears taking at 10? Genty.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So, but anyways, let's move off of that. I know we're a little bit late. So the guest,
I was on a big rant. Some people think Banks is a guard, Dad. What would you say to that?
I think they're assholes.
I love it. I love it. So this guy is a TTNL fan for a while. He reached out to me on Twitter. I'm being completely transparent. When I saw the DM, he said, "Invite me on your show tomorrow night." And I essentially said, "Why?" I had no idea where it was going. And he just said he wanted to chop it up with Phil and I, talk some football. And he said he was throwing down the challenge. So we don't know what that is, Phil. So we're
gonna find out. We got challenged.
Yeah, this is a
bring on the challengers, unlike other shows.
This is a guy, when we say the guest, people aren't going to know who he is, but he's a TTNL. He's been a big super chat contributor. He's in the chat all the time. So let's bring him out here. James Weston. There he is.
There he is. Of course, he froze for a second.
For a quick second, he did.
No.
Are you on mute? I think you're on mute.
We got a bigger strip.
Can we hear you now?
We
have no audio. No audio
before the show, Ivan.
We have no audio on you, James.
I know I'm short, right?
Try to bounce out. We can't hear you at all. Yeah, try to bounce out and then bounce back in and see. Yeah, that's not going to help either. But
I tried to put up his mic, but even that doesn't help.
Yeah. He's probably got to accept you have to allow access to your mic and headphones and do all that. But I haven't had a very good run here. I know my guy Rob last night was having some issues.
Rob missed the patron draft.
Yep. Then I had my issues tonight, and then Phil did. And now James.
What's going on in this world right now? Everyone's living it. This guy's just living in another.
Yeah.
Living in his own world.
AI Jim.
AI Jim. AI Jim. He's just living. Where's he been? Is he watching his Survivor on or something?
He's very well. You know what he's busy with. We can't talk about it, but
we're gonna talk about it at some point.
Mr. Jim is very, 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 very busy. Yeah, he could play the guitar, but
play the guitar.
Gotta hear it.
Background jam. Some background jam.
Here he is. Now let's see.
He's back.
Does my mic work now?
There he is. There he is.
Fuck
yes.
Man. I've been preparing for this for an hour, man.
Your internet service seems very, very spotty.
I live in Florida. I live
Yeah.
in Florida. Yeah, it's bad internet. Can you get it though?
Yeah, we got you.
We hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, man. Well, let's talk football. Hey, I'm Muck Muck tonight. I'm Muck Muck.
You're Muck Muck. Oh, okay.
I'm Muck Muck.
All right, cool. Now we know.
Oh, you were Weston. You're confused.
Well, I am. I'm not really Muck Muck, but that motherfucker came. He didn't want to come on when Smartest Man told him to give him a link. So
yeah, well, see,
football,
that's
man. I was talking football.
We have so many guys that we've invited on over the years, and not very many of them show up. So the Muck Mucks fall by the wayside.
Oh yeah. Well, I could play you a song. You want to hear a song?
Yes. Why not? Play some background.
Can you play the open to Keeping It 100 on your guitar?
That would be tough.
I'll play this, man. Listen to this shit.
Let me hear.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with a mate so fearlessly. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Let every play pave the way to victory. We'll never forget the way you threw the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Let them know why you're wearing the crown. 1985. You're the pride and joy. Whatever, man.
Oh, it was great.
Here's my challenge to you guys.
I thought Michael McDonald was coming out.
Yeah.
My piano's in the corner.
Long ago.
He's got the pipes for it for sure. Now I see. I see why you walked away from Wisconsin football.
You know it, man. Well, I'll tell you why I walked away. I got fucking rocked. I was on a crossing pattern, like spring ball, and I got hit, and my brains got scrambled, and I was like, I'm only fucking 5'10". I can't play. Dreams of the NFL evaded me, so I joined the Navy at that time.
There you go. I wish your internet service was better, man. You're super choppy.
Plug in? Can you plug in?
Or maybe try to.
Can
you do it through your phone, James?
I'll do it on my phone.
Yeah, bounce out and come back
gonna-
in on your phone, and we'll see if that's better. Because
it does sound great on his mic, but it
sounds great.
Let me try on my phone, brother. I'll be right back.
Pop back in.
We'll lock you out. I like James already.
Yeah, I'm interested to know.
That would have been an all-time classic if he didn't chop up with it.
We can. Well, he's got his little studio there. We
Gary
can have
Franklin had his fucking lighter out.
Yeah, he did.
He was fired. AOL 0.15 is available.
Yeah. Does anybody got a CD-ROM from AOL that I can update with?
Net Zero.
Yeah, Netscape Navigator.
Netscape Navigator. Oh yeah. Oh my God. He had so much bandwidth. I already like James Weston.
There he is.
My back.
Oh, there
turn your phone sideways and it'll be perfect.
There he is.
Hey, dude, I know what I'm talking. I know what I'm doing, man. Like I'm a video editor.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Doing it all.
My challenge to you guys is this, and before my internet gets fucked up again, I wanted to challenge you guys because I'm sick of Bears fans focusing the first few rounds. I think there's a lot of good players in the depth of the draft.
There is.
This draft is good, man.
Yeah.
We got two rounders that I think could start on this team if we pick the right guys.
Yeah, it depends on who falls there. But I mean, we saw like last night, we did a live mock with a couple of patrons and two guys. Well, I don't think either one of them will be there on draft day, but Phil's guy, Afton Chisholm, the wide receiver, and the tight end from Syracuse, Aronde Gadsden. Those are guys that are going to come in and have a role in the NFL. I'm not going to say that they're going to come in and be superstars, but you see it all the time. You know, as much hate and disrespect as we have here on TTNL about Charles Leno, let's not forget this guy was a 7th round draft pick in 2013. And he carved out a couple of long-term extensions along the way, made himself a very comfortable life financially. But there's guys all over. We see undrafted free agents. That's the one thing that Ryan Poles has done. Ryan Poles, Jack Sanborn was an undrafted free agent.
Let's look at a guy. I think that Ben Johnson was talking about in his interview the other day.
Yep.
Because they were talking to Ben Johnson about the running backs in this draft, and it's a deep draft. Can you imagine another draft where Donovan Edwards from Michigan goes undrafted?
Oh, well, we've talked about that here, James, a lot. I went through a couple of live mocks myself, and like for 3 in a row, I said if he's there, I'm drafting Donovan Edwards every single time in round 7 if he's available. I don't give a shit if I drafted another running back earlier. I don't give a shit if I drafted 2 running backs. I would still take him in round 7 if he was there. He's a guy that can make fucking plays. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
You know who would take him undrafted?
What's that?
Yeah, hardball.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I will.
Like that's the thing that people don't understand about the draft. Like, yeah, the first rounders are important, but like the depth, you got to fill out the depth. You got guys. Okay, the Bears need a safety. We need a safety to protect because we have our starting safeties. One has concussion issues and one's. So what safeties do you want? People are talking about safeties like Xavier Watts, which I would love Xavier Watts, but you can get a guy in the 6th and the 7th. You can get a guy Woodson, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get that guy who loves to hit people. He reminds me of Mike Brown, the way he hits people. You can get a guy like that. You're mining for gold later on in the draft.
Well, we were talking about that, James. The Bears have not focused in, even though they threw it out there that they were going to focus more in on football players.
Yep.
And you proceed to get Lucas Van Ness, and in the draft, you're getting the kid Hicks, Hicks made this roster, and he was one of the worst safeties I've seen last year.
Right, but just to James' point, and I think where you can fall into the trap is with what James is saying. I totally get it, and I think that I love the depth of this draft, but you can't come into the draft and say to yourself, all right, I'm going to wait until a guy like Woodson from, the safety that you were talking about, right?
Craig Woodson, right? That's
Craig Woodson from Cal, right? I'm going to wait until round 7 and bring him in, and he's going to be my starter. That's where you run into the problem. But the good part about it was when we bring up, like we've seen it in mock drafts that I've done, Phil's been a part of. If you take it as Xavier Watts in round 2, and then Woodson is available later in the draft, guess who your starting safeties are probably next year? Watts and Woodson. You know what I mean? That's I've been I wouldn't draft Malachi Moore early. I've drafted Malachi Moore many times.
Probably 5th round.
Late in the draft. Right, exactly. He's a guy that's played a ton of football. He's a guy that can take the football away. He's got to stay on the straight and narrow and not lose his fucking mind on the football field.
But my point is this, Shane. My point is this. So you got Malachi Moore. You got a guy like that you can get in the 5th. But then you got a guy like Dericky Wright, 6'4", 225, that could play your strong safety position. He could pretty much take over.
The kid from Vandy, you're talking. You said Wright? Yeah.
Ricky Wright. That guy, bad motherfucker, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Tape never lies, right? I mean, go watch that motherfucker football.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember watching the Alabama Vanderbilt upset Alabama.
Exactly.
This year. Yeah, but that's the thing. And listen, there's going to be pathways where you're going to steal guys late. You see it. I mean, Josh Blackwell just got an extension here in Chicago. They extended him. He was an undrafted guy. Philadelphia signed him.
Right?
What's that?
Played at Duke.
Yeah, but Philly signed him as a UDFA. They were trying to sneak him through onto the practice squad. Ryan Poles, to his credit, claimed him, brought him over. But like what James is talking about, there wasn't a lot of people pounding the table for Josh Blackwell in the 6th or the 7th round. But he's a guy. And listen, I always laugh when people say, "Oh, you drafted this guy in the 5th round, and he's an uber bust." No, he's not. There's no such thing as a 5th round bust. Busts are if you take somebody at 10 and they're not good. Those
Kevin
are
White, bust.
Right. Things like that.
Smartest man. Like you say, his story's not written yet.
That's right.
So you got a guy like Karana Magaji who comes out of an Ivy League school who gets thrust into a fucking game against the Minnesota Vikings. They stunk like a motherfucker. He gets thrust in that game with his second head coach, third offensive coordinator, and now we got Bears fans saying Karan is a bust.
Yeah, because they have no idea that they're basing it off what he looked like in a prime time game when he was
Shane Snorling again was doing that on the air. I texted Cap. I go, this is so fucking pathetic and unfair. Like this kid was injured all camp.
Let me give you a thought experience. If you could only think if the only game you ever saw of Walter Payton was the Super Bowl, what would you think about that guy?
Oh, right. No, you're right. Yeah, that was the
only
only time.
3.5 yards per carry against those Patriots.
Yeah, that's you're right, man, and that's so much goes into this. And listen, Phil and I have been doing this. We're way beyond our 10,000 hours, of experience in this this format. The thing about it, we see it all the time, and things go beyond tape. If Phil and I had access to sit down and talk to guys, I know that the way that Phil and I are constructed, and we would have disagreements here. Phil and I have had many conversations over the years where I'm like, Phil, talking to this dude, I don't trust him at all. Shady as fuck. And Phil's like, wow, really, I didn't see it that way. Or vice versa. Phil said that to me. The tape can be great. If you sit down with the guy and he's a degenerate, or it comes across that he doesn't love it,
it's hard.
Then you have to throw the tape away unless you have complete conviction that you can transform the man away from the football field first and foremost. Because I can't teach you to love football if you don't love it. That if you're going to play at this level, this is what is potentially going to hurt an uber talent like James Pierce. If James Pierce was completely clean off the field and with his coaches, he's probably the Bears pick at number 10. Let's just be honest.
He might need to be, but the problem is, so like, give me a comp of him. Comp me James Pierce.
Are you talking play style or just everything?
No, football player.
Of heart? Leonard Floyd.
Exactly. So let me give you an example. And my brother-in-law can attest to this. I've been tracking Ashton Janty for the past 2 fucking years.
Yeah.
I thought the Bears were going to get him in the 3rd round for this last season.
Yeah.
Because I see his past. I see he's a military kid, played football in Italy, played football in Texas. He didn't even get an invite anywhere. Then he went and played at Boise State. Guess what he didn't do? He didn't leave
transfer. Yeah.
He didn't leave Boise State to get the NIL money.
Yep.
Stayed there and he played football. Like, my comp for Ashton Janty, here's my comp for Ashton Janty as a football player. Peanut Tillman. That's what I think about that.
Oh,
guy.
and so you're talking in terms of heart and intensity and love of the game and
all
that.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
and listen, that's gonna take you a long ways, and then your talent on top of it is what's gonna make you a a superstar and get you the generational wealth. That's
Guys comping corners to running backs tonight.
no, but I think you're removing football from removing football
I
from it.
Football.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The Bears haven't had
That's
enough
what I
guys
said,
that
James.
Phil, do you remember
I went on a rant tonight.
Do you remember the fabric football players? How that used to be the thing?
Fabric guys.
Yeah. I need a guy that can't live without football.
100%. You take that guy over talent that
but you
trumps him. Like
you
Membo's
combined that with
talent.
talent. You
But if
combine
you get
that
it,
with
that's
talent.
the B.
And
That's
what
the
you get,
blue plus.
Well, but that
Elvin Banks is a blue plus because of that.
Phil, you're right about that though, because like you got Armand Membu getting comped in the top 10. That guy stops before the whistle's blown.
Exactly.
Play.
These guys they're supposedly watching tape and saying, and nothing is said about it. The only person that has said anything about it, I believe, was Mike Tice, former OC of the Bears, former Vikings head coach.
Yeah, besides us,
Besides us, he's the only one. Besides, we'll remove Shane from this.
Just watch football.
My father, me, and Steve, we're all watching that tape, right? You probably were watching that show, James. And every fucking one of us are looking at it and like, I was cutting this fucking tape.
Yeah.
Saying, oh my fucking God, this is poor. This is so bad. And then to hear the opposite has pushed me to another level of trying to educate fans to not listening to Pancake Boy and the posse of fucking talking heads that are on ESPN. Okay, there's nice stories all around. There, as Shane said, I always said this, as much as I joked about Leno, Speed Bump Charlie, the Walrus, all that shit. I always said, but the dude is so talented. That's why he's in the NFL. He just didn't work on his craft. What does that sound like? Sounds like Braxton Jones. I have some information on Braxton Jones. I can't share it, but it just is a testament to where his career is because you don't work hard.
But here, let me play devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
He played on a team with multiple head coaches, multiple offensive coordinators, a really shitty fucking O-line coach. He's got, I think some guy like this makes me think of Jalen Johnson. Remember, Jalen Johnson started talking shit about the team after the team meetings or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of these Chicago Bears players just need leadership. They want fucking
without a doubt.
Right? So we can't disregard some of these guys. We just need leadership, coaching. We need that first and foremost. And then if you want to leave the team, sayonara, go to the Lions, you know?
But that's why you've seen, and this is again, I was very critical of Ryan Poles, an hour ago when we were talking about him. But this is where I think you see the Ben Johnson effect, and where you have to look beyond age when people see Grady Jarrett, when they see Jesus Christ, the offensive lineman we traded for from the Kansas City Chiefs. They're guys that have been in the league. They have some skins on the wall. They've been in the league for a while. But this is where when Ben Johnson comes out and says, yeah, we're going to have 5, maybe 6 captains, they're going to be the consistent captains all year long. You know who they're going to be. Not all of them, but you think Grady Jarrett's going to be a captain?
Well,
yeah, you're goddamn right he's going to be. But
you guys watch tape. Okay, here's the thing. Look at the trenches and see. I can't tell you the last time I saw a Bears offensive line talk to each other before the play.
Well, when's the last time that you saw the Bears as an offensive group get up in somebody's fucking face and say, you're not going to touch my fucking quarterback?
Well, sadly, the only guy was Tevin, but then he.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
got reprimanded for it by his own fucking teammate.
Yeah.
If Phil is my head coach,
Oh my
and
God.
Phil sees that right tackle do that to Tevin Jenkins, Phil's ripping him. I know Phil. Phil's ripping him out of the fucking game
100%.
and praising
He's
Tevin.
gone.
Yeah.
I'm doing it in front of the team at the end of the game. I'm setting the whole message because I'm
And-
not afraid.
And it's leading off the
It's
fucking
mine.
tape.
You're a
I'm-
reflection of me.
Right.
Hey,
These soft ass hires, James, all come from George and
Yeah.
Ted. And that's where I'm worried. Now we're gonna be in the fun boat.
George, football guy. George ain't a football guy.
No, he's not, and he's not a good owner either. There's
He's a-
two things.
Dude, I'll tell you a story about George. My brother-in-law.
George is gonna wow everybody with flowers and candy,
No,
but he
listen,
ain't gonna fucking bang the girl at the end of the date. That's the problem.
listen, man. George is a good owner.
He's
And
not.
No, I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you a
He's
story.
a good guy.
My brother, he's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's not supposed to be the coach of the Bears. He's a good owner. The problem is
He's not a good owner. I disagree.
no, he takes pictures with little kids and they go back and he
Right.
does.
He's a politician. He's lying to you.
Well, welcome to the NFL, man.
Not all of them are like that, man.
What
Not
do you
all
want?
of them are like that.
What would you prefer? George selling a team to a guy from Amazon or something that doesn't care about the team? George still cares about the team. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. He needed a guy like Ben Johnson to come in to be an actual
That's what I pray. That's
fucker to come in. He
That's
needed
But I think to Phil's point, though, at some point, listen, I'm not saying that George needs to be this football czar, but let's also call a spade a spade. When you're the fucking grandson of George fucking Hallis, and you come out and say, I'm not a football, you've been there your entire fucking life.
He's
so what
quoting,
the fuck have you been doing?
He's quoting the size of the
how does
end
some of
zone
that
at
not-
fucking Wrigley when the Bears played there.
Right.
Pay
How does
the
some
fuck
of that not
attention
get
to it.
absorbed into your fucking brain
No,
at
man.
some point?
Man, you got to blame fucking Mike because Mike fired Ditka. Mike McCaskey was the one who screwed it all up. Not
Oh, I
George.
know, but that's also 40
all
fucking
together.
years ago.
They're
But I'm
all
just saying,
together, though.
George's tenure, what did he take over? What was it 2010 or whatever the fuck? Cars has all the fucking numbers. I wish I had them right now, but it's the
All right.
same fucking goddamn process over and hopefully we hope they got it right. But you know what?
You know who's a good owner? Jeff Lurie. That's a good owner.
That's a
He's
great.
nice to the fans,
Yeah.
but he understands we got to get some motherfucking badasses in this motherfucker because that's how he talks.
Hey,
In front of the camera, he's gonna say he's not gonna swear. We're looking for real men playing the game of football. I trust Howie.
Man,
We haven't had any of those dudes. We've had pussy soft George standing there with his family trophy in the background. That's it. A plaque that was given at the fucking local Knights of Columbus.
Yeah,
The McCaskies are nice guys. No.
But Phil, I'm going to tell you this much right now. The reason Ryan Poles won't lose his job is because Ben Johnson just got hired. Did you see his interviews this weekend? Holy shit, that motherfucker's going to take us to the promised land. I'm telling you that. And I've been a Bears fan for 45 years.
Yeah.
We've all been Bears
Yeah.
fans for years.
We could just be happy.
I'm not getting fooled again. I thought, okay, let me trust you here with Eberflus. You're hiring, he's saying the right things. Yes, the acronyms are kind of cheesy, but I've been around a lot of coaches that throw a few acronyms out there. Anything involved with Ted and George, and I'll just say my piece on George here because I've been teasing it the whole. When you're bringing up Ted Phillips as a leader and as somebody that you want to model hiring the next guy after, you have now put Philitoshin in a place of sheer fear of the goddamn stupidity of the Chicago Bears, because there's no worse influence on a franchise. And I've known this throughout all of my discussion. Talk to people with the Patriots, Browns, Eagles, Jets, Jaguars, who else? It was like, and Chargers, and there's one other team. Every fucking person privately said, "Oh my God, you're a Bears fan. I feel sorry for you." I go, "Yeah, we need to find a quarterback." No, it's a mom and pop shop run by a fucking accountant. That was universally said. And here's this guy on this stage again. It's a new era. What the frig are you bringing up Ted Phillips for? Like, you have to pad his ass when you're trying to surface a new stadium? It's pathetic. He's a loser. He's always been a loser. The best thing about George is everybody will say, like Logan, he'll fall for this dumb shit because he loves The Office UK. And that's dumb. George is taking a picture with fucking Shane and Phil. Oh, he's a great guy. Oh, he gives everybody muffins. Yeah, okay. He's a fucking muffin man. That's what he is. He's the worst. He's arguably the worst owner. He's fucking fighting in front of it. They're voting to get rid of the tush push. I'm embarrassed that the Bears.
But you know why that, Phil?
You're pathetic, George.
A medical guy told George that they're worried about safety, and that's all it took for George. And
George,
it didn't have to go beyond that.
You're so soft. You remind me of all the soccer moms and their husbands who cater to them. He's the husband that caters to them. It's embarrassing.
Here's what I want. I want you and Shane to watch a full Bears football game with George in his suite. Teach him about football.
He would never let us. He would kick us out.
I sat with
because we'd have Bears swag on.
That's his new nickname.
Do you know that you can't wear
everywhere?
Bears?
It's gonna be.
Did you know, James? Did you know that you can't wear Bears swag?
Make me
Virginia
a fucking
suite?
T-shirt. Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
Can't.
Why?
Can't. You have to dress up. You cannot wear Bears swag in Virginia McCaskey's suite. That's an actual thing.
I'll wear a suit, but I'll put a cucumber in my pants.
I'm sitting in their stadium. It's third down. And this is for years. This isn't just recently. It's third down. Fans are all sitting there. They're just sitting down, talking about the day, whatever. The lack of trust and understanding football was I can't even imagine it. Like, I couldn't even imagine it. I'm like, this is the Chicago Bears. This is what I grew up like looking at, like Walter Payton, Richard Dent, fucking McMichael, Singletary, Zorich, going down, these bastards that gave everything they got, only to find out that the McCaskeys cut everybody, stab them right in the back. It ain't changed. It hasn't changed. I'm not going to be a Logan fucking Frost and a fool myself. And I don't want you to be that, Jane. Take George as he's got to be better. He's fucking raising prices of tickets. You can't swear on Hard Knocks. You're so soft that I pray that Ben Johnson is able to fight the person. Well, what do you think of Ben Johnson? What's his name says from Fox News? Lou Canellis. Yeah. What do you think? And he pauses. This is his new thing. He's learned how to work the media. I'll give him that. Because when he first started, he talked like a stuttering fool. But now he's very slow and very pointed. And this is my impression of him. What did you think of Ben Johnson as he gets into the program and everything and on the cusp of the players coming? This is George. Well, he's intense. He's intense. I'll tell you that. I'm like, guys, this is the NFL. This is football. Like, he's intense. Like, that's different for us. We haven't seen this since Ditka, someone intense as a head coach. And what have I been saying? That's the exact thing you need. I got comfy with Lovey. Lovey's so nice.
But like you guys said,
the Muffin Man.
Ben's got the money. They paid Ben the money. Ben could have been any head coach.
I'm not saying they didn't. They had to, though. What were they going to do?
Just gone to any team. They needed to pay Ben the money. So George is going to be like, oh, he said a dirty word. Who gives a fuck? The Super Bowl's coming back to Chicago. And he believes it. Ben believes it. So does his coaching staff. Eric Bieniemy, whoever the fuck we draft at running back, the running backs are going to go through hell.
Good.
Eric Bieniemy is going to make them work.
I hope
Dude,
so. But
the coaching staff.
Don't praise the Muffin Man, James, because everything else about you I love. Seriously.
No, the Muffin's okay, man.
The gruffy beard, the hat,
the voice.
Guitar. Break out the guitar. I'm gonna have you do some voiceovers for us.
Well, dude, I'll play. Actually, I got
a young boy.
I'll record a song for you guys, an intro.
Yes.
I'll do some Chicago blues shit.
I need you to do a blues song.
We need a blues version of the Keepin' It 100 song or BHL or something.
I'll get that to you next week, man. I'll do a fucking
awesome.
I want the real deal, James. I don't want some from Muffin Man shit.
From Chicago.
Can you please record the Muffin Man for us as well? Please. Do you know the Muffin Man? McCaskey's can.
And by the way, I'm not talking. I'm trying to unblock Phil's child from the chat that Ivan blocked him earlier. I had no idea that was him.
Poor T. I guess he was getting yelled at by his sister and they were fighting over the phone. So it was just spitting out random shit.
Hey,
yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta go, but
what do you mean you gotta go? Where are you going?
You got muffins in the oven.
Muffins in the oven.
Take care of them folks, man. I gotta go, but thanks for having me on. Sorry about the issue, but
all good, man.
I'll get that song together for you. And
I'm gonna give you. Are you on Instagram or Facebook?
I'm not on social media. I'm only on Twitter. That's how I talk to.
Well, Shane, give him my cell number.
Yeah, I will.
I want to talk to him.
And I'll text you mine.
I can't hear you because you always keep breaking out. Like you look like one of those old Chinese kung fu movies.
It's because he doesn't have his headphones.
Oh, that's why.
That's why. His earbuds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the old Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Don't you know who I am? The Muffin Man.
Hey, I wanted to do one more thing for you guys.
First, I want one favor though, too.
Yeah.
Who are you taking at 10? No trade down, no nothing. Everybody's on the board. Go ahead.
Who's available? Everybody's on the board.
Everybody that you want is on the board. Who do you want?
It's gonna be Graham and then Janty and then Banks.
Graham, then Genty, then Banks. Hey, I can support those, James Weston.
I have a feeling Graham's gonna. I've said to Phil for a long time. Everybody's got Graham locked into 5 to Jacksonville. I just don't see it. I have a feeling on draft. What did I say to you today, Phil? Bears get on the clock. Mason Graham's there. It's going to take him about 24 seconds. Turn the card in, and Mason Graham's a Chicago Bear.
Dude, he's fucking Dan Hampton part 2. You get
he's not as big as him, but I
he's
know what you're saying. He can
be the engine to the defense.
He's a Charles Tillman at D tackle.
That's what I'm saying, Charles Tillman. I want to do this. Fuck you, Bullets.
Listen, you came on here.
Fuck you, Bullets.
You came on here. I truly enjoy meeting all these crazy, amazing fans all over the world. You brought it. I think you have a future on this show, James. I really have a good vibe for you. And you're a good-hearted soul. You look like a grown Greg Braggs right now.
I came from Portage, Indiana, which is in the region, and Greg lives in Crown Point.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Well,
Now,
not
do you
anymore.
consider
He
it
doesn't live there
Chicago
anymore,
or-
but yeah, that's
whatever.
where he's from. Yep.
So yeah. Greg, I shoot the shit with Greg a lot, but anyways.
Okay. Well, you're I'm a big fan of yours now. I can't wait to talk and send that music, and we'll produce a video for it. And a Muffin Man song with McCaskey. I'm gonna write the lyrics, but you gotta sing it, all right?
Yeah, man.
It'll
Anytime.
be a lot of fun. All right, man.
All right, man. Thanks, James.
Thanks, James, for coming on.
Thank you.
God bless you, bro. There he is, James Weston. He had the
Good
great
shit.
mic and the room set up.
Yeah,
He was ready.
he was. I liked
Ivan's
it.
blocking my kid.
Oh my god, and I can't find his fucking name. What is his name again?
TD. Easy TD.
Well, I knew I recognized the name, and then I saw that he got blocked, and I'm like, I said to Ivan, I'm like, what did Easy TD do? And he just typed a bunch of gibberish. And I'm like, all right. Then you said that, I'm like, oh fuck, that's right. It's Tate.
Bella was texting me. She's like, Dad, turn off Tate and Devin's phones. Steph's trying to get them to go to bed and they're not listening. And Tate's watching your show. So I was shutting off their phones. And then I guess that got blocked.
Well,
Grown Greg, James Weston.
Good shit. Yeah, no, he
like the bear down too with the ukulele.
Yeah.
Pissed I didn't get to see him. Mike Sports 2005. I'm a big fan of Ollie Gordon. I think he's a guy, if someone was going to ask me, who are a lot of people sleeping on? I think Ollie Gordon is that guy that
watch the tape. We just broke him down.
Just broke him down this past weekend, and we were showing his ability and what he had to deal with in regards to the quarterback that he plays with, as well as the offensive line play there. And
well, when you have NFL scouts saying to throw out his 2024 tape and it's no fault of his own, there's
so
issues.
Funny that you said that because I never heard that. So I'm saying that, and patrons could tell you if you're not, Mike. And I really urge people, like, seriously, it's been my mission. It's not even like I'm trying to sell you a bag of shit. Like, every person that has become a patron, especially now with what we're bringing to the table in regards to draft coverage, like, we're not panhandling to the national narrative. In fact, it gets disappointing. It's disheartening. I'll say this, when a guy like Tom Waddle, who I love, goes out there and says the complete opposite. Now, two people could see things differently and that and the other, and that's fine. But when you tout someone the best in the draft, that's when it's not. We're seeing it differently. There's just no other way. You can't say you don't know how to watch offensive line tape, but you think, no, the majority are his combine athletic scores. All of that is a piece of the process, just like we talk about PFF a lot here. We know the backstory of PFF and who's grading them. So I take it with a grain of salt. I use it in regards to numbers, like how many times did this guy start? How many times did they run away from this guy? How many times did they throw at the guy? Those things can't be debated. That's a useful tool. But when you start, you know what, Braxton Jones was the 7th best pass blocker. And
Phil, if you strictly went off PFF grades, the Bears downgraded at offensive guard this season with Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson. They downgraded.
Let
that sink in.
They are saying Matt Pryor, Tevin Jenkins, and Nate Davis and Shelton Coleman were a better interior unit than what the Bears just paid millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's
millions of dollars. Does it make sense? No. It's sad. It's like, I get on Orlovsky a lot because he flip-flops not daily, like hourly. what he said in the morning changes in the afternoon. I can't get in on that. You won't see that from me. You know what'll have to change my mind? The first fan that fucking takes the challenge. The first one. Bring your tape on, Pancake Boy. Bring the tape on. If Pat the designer wants to debate, let's show me the tape of this. Come on, do it. Like, I have no fear whatsoever. The tape has told me my answers, and I've never pretend. I got to watch 4 games, and then I get. So, like a guy like Hunter Wohler, I know someone was talking about him. I remember Hunter Wohler watching him on Saturdays at Wisconsin. And I was like, whoa, this kid is a physical guy. I have not watched Hunter Wohler tape right yet. I'm cutting defensive ends, running backs, tight ends, offensive tackles right now. That's what I've been doing. So when we did 4 breakdowns, Shane, who do we just break down? Ollie Gordon, Jaden Blue, Taj Brooks, and who was the last one? Samson.
Oh yeah, Dylan Sampson.
Sampson from Tennessee. We literally went over all of their game tape, 2 hours and something minutes. It's not highlight films. It's not cherry picked. These things are real in front of you. So just like I was 100% sure on Caleb Williams, that's where I am with Kelvin Banks. I know what Kelvin's going to do. In fact, the guy that's in my top 5 that I did not have in my top 5 in my brain in November, put that picture right up again, is right there in the lower left-hand corner of your TV screen. This kid,
same thing, Phil.
Jaden Blue, man. I am just telling you, man.
Yeah, Phil, you heard me talk about, some guys at running backs, and you heard me talk about Dylan Sampson very early on. I've been a Dylan Sampson guy. With the work that we've done on these running backs, I have moved Jaden Blue ahead of Dylan Sampson.
Oh,
and
see, there you go.
2 or 3 months ago, before we got into this real hardcore, I wouldn't have. But there's something to this kid.
100%, man. That tape. And you're sitting there cutting tape of Kelvin Banks and this kid. I'm like, wait a second. What the fuck is Blue doing?
Yeah.
Blue just fucking burst into the secondary and drops his pads like he's 225 pounds. I take Ollie, Blue, Brooks. Every single one of those guys that we watched are over Amari and Hampton for me. Every single one of them. I would not. Amari and Hampton is that guy. And then the fans that love Amari and Hampton will never take ownership of it later. Like, put your face to it. Like James Weston. Come on here. Tell us your analysis. You grind tape. You have a source. Then put your name to it. I always put my name to it.
Right. And so, like, this is what John, he's a 10 to 15 touchback. Well, that's the thing.
No, I think he could be 25 touches. We don't.
Right. But you don't listen, if he's eating, you let him go. But that's the thing. Look at Detroit. This is why people have been pounding the table for, Ben Johnson was around when they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs at number 12. But listen, DeAndre Swift isn't an amazing running back. He's also not trash. That's what a lot of people have written him off as. But yeah, if you're going into this year and you're giving both of those guys carries, they
Swift
both have a role.
Is better than Hampton. Would you agree?
I would. Yeah, I wouldn't want to listen, Phil. You know my thoughts on Omarion Hampton.
I'm just saying, Omarion Hampton is Membu. Like, what are we gonna name those things? Muffins? Like, what? There needs to be a nickname of a guy that's so hyped that you just don't see it. I don't see it. We could go back and Tennessee Titans. They always pick a guy that I don't see. And I'm like, okay. I just never see the Titan in the years past. I just don't see it. For me, Membu, Amari and Hampton, don't see it at all. I don't see that. They're third round picks. Like maybe they grow into it if they love the game. Amari and Hampton's fast. He tests well, but he goes down easy. And I have so many jokes about that last sentence, but I'm not going to say any of them because it's better just to hint at the jokes. We could go through last year's draft, just every pick. Look at where guys were drafted and look at how they performed. Or go 4 years ago, Shane.
You're talking about the Bears or just the NFL?
The whole NFL.
Yep.
You go 4 years ago because you give them 3 years. And
Yep.
then you look at where these guys were picked and look at the fourth round guys. How many of them made it? How many of them are getting paid in free agency? Right. That's why I don't ever get into like that's why I get offended sometimes how I see it. And I agree with James Weston. And I thought it was hilarious that he compared him to Tillman because he's talking about the personality, the determination, the love of the game of football. That aspect the Bears have missed. And that's why they've missed on so many players. So that's where they have to tap into. And that's where I don't have confidence in Ryan Poles because he's promised that. We're going to draft football players. Did you hear what they asked him today?
The stuff from today, no, I did not.
We could play it. It's a good.
Is it on the Bears
Fox
website?
32. Go look up.
Just
Ryan
start talking
Poles
and I'll look it up.
Yeah, Logan makes a good point. My take on Hufanga. My take on Hufanga in that draft is he's a must draft. I would take this guy in the second or third round. Oh, he did. All these guys are the same through the second and third. That kind of talking doesn't measure what I saw in Hufanga. And I was right about Hufanga. This whole network and patrons that have been with us since day one could see Hufanga is a guy that's going to play football the way it needs to be played. Great instincts. He's not going to time well, but he's going to be in the right place. We can't love these guys like Mike Brown and Marty Booker and these guys that gave it all, then turn around and just kowtow to these test scores of athletic tests. It's got to be a piece of the puzzle. The bigger piece, and I'm 100% sure of it, because look at Aaron Donald. University of Georgia will not sign players on the defensive line if they're under 6'3", right? No, we can't take that guy. You look at him, right? Would they have taken the best defensive tackle all time?
Thanks, James.
No, they would have passed on Aaron Donald. My guy, Chancey, who plays with Tampa, did he live up to what I said? Yeah. Is he playing his ass? Yeah, because you could see he loved the game of football. Didn't matter his size on tape. I look at this kid in the draft. You want a great name? I know people talked about him. He won the Senior Bowl MVP. But Jack Beck is a fucking menace of football. He is going to be a star. He's going, barring injury, he's going to come in and compete to start. Is that worth the 39th pick? Yeah, to me it is. But to Ryan Poles, is it? He's not shown that he takes these guys.
Yeah, and that's where I think that Ben comes in and makes a difference, because I think when they go into this draft, if they're let's just say for whatever reason Ryan Poles has Travion Henderson ranked at one spot and Ben Johnson is pounding the table for Caleb Johnson's going to be the pick.
That's what I seriously, I sit there and pray because Caleb Johnson's my number 2 back in the draft.
I have Caleb over Travion the way that I have the rankings, but that's what I just want to, just because he's the GM, this is going to be especially when it comes down to guys on the offensive side of the ball. Listen, and let's just say,
let me ask you this point.
Just real quick before we wrap that part up. It's a great point, because you and I are both out on taking Tyler Warren at 10.
100%.
Excuse me.
Out.
There is a pathway. If Ben Johnson, your head coach, is there pounding the table saying this is the guy that's going to transform my offense and I'm going to use him this way, and he's the next guy, that's going to hold weight with the Bears. Let's be honest. But at the same time, Cole Kmet didn't like that they brought in Gerald Everett. Cole Kmet talked about, having an issue with that and not being featured. We get it. But what's Cole Kmet going to do when you draft a tight end at 10? If Tyler Warren was the pick, is he able to handle that mentally? Because he couldn't. He had an issue with Gerald Everett, and to Cole's credit, Gerald Everett wasn't bought in at all. At the time of the signing, I was actually pretty excited about a Gerald Everett signing.
I was.
He just didn't want to play football.
He was my biggest disappointment. Like, I really thought.
But Phil,
Everett was a catch, turn, and drop pass.
Do you remember in Buffalo when I'm texting you from the stands? I'm like, bro, Gerald Everett is just walking. And I mean, he was featured in training camp. He wasn't even going 30%. But that was the culture that Flus and everybody else built. That shit was able to happen.
I don't know if this is the one where he says it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's with all the media. He just addresses and they're all asking him questions. I didn't see this interview.
Oh, I thought you said it was all right.
It is on Fox 32. That's what.
All right, yeah. I can find the one with the media scrum pretty
It's a
easily.
media scrum one, yeah. And he's talking and he's kind of owning some of the things. But again, it gives me pause, Shane, to your point, and that's what I was going to say, and ask you, but I can ask the fans, to me, it makes me, are you really the GM? Like, what have you done? If it's going to be Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson, are you really the GM? Or you have to lean on them because your take is that bad? Are we dealing with that? And I'm not picking on Otis Nichols. Otis Nichols was in the chat every week defending Matt Eberflus. You guys just don't know. And I'm coming from a place where this is what I do. The Bears should be fucking calling Shane and Phil. But they won't. Because we're too much the opposite of this. Because I'm sitting at this table, I'm too much John Gruden for them without the emails. I'm just going to be a straight shot. That's the dumbest question, Adam Hogue, I've ever heard. What do you think I'm going to do? Tell you? That's how honest I'm going to be with these guys. And that's what the Bears need. At GM, at ownership, you can't just talk tough. That's what the Muffin Man sells. He can't. It's like
Duval.
it's just that soft.
Is this the one? You want me to roll
Yeah,
this?
this is the one. Go ahead. We'll
I feel like
roll
we're in a
that
really
for
good
muck
place.
muck.
Was really happy on how free agency went. Was able to really attack some needs that our roster had to have to compete and be a good football team. So I've been happy about that process and thankful for, the staff and the work from the coaches to execute at a high level, both with the trades and free agency. And then really been excited about the work that we've done preparing for the draft. We're kind of
Because I don't think
about
the
to go down
Bears
home
put
stretch.
this
Scouts
video
are going to
up.
come in town and really start to nail down the board. And we've taken some good trips just with the coaching staff. We went down to Austin, went to Columbus, and had a good time meeting with the players, digging a little bit deeper, getting them on the board, understanding what they know, what they might struggle with,
Austin and Columbus.
and just have a better perspective on the guys that we're going to be looking at in the draft. So, again, thankful for the work that everybody's done in that process. This coaching staff has been outstanding with their evaluations, the volume of evaluations that they've done, and really been impressed with their ability to evaluate as well. So all of that's coming together. So I'll open up to questions.
Ryan, you talked about the draft board kind of marrying up with needs for you this year. When you look at that collection of 4 picks on days 1 and day 2, what can you get done, and how much of it is sort of seeing those as a collection of picks as opposed to just 10 on its own and then trying to make that package work together?
Yeah, and that's when we get back, and that's why I'm excited to get back and get working on that part of it. Because once we kind of clean up the board based on some things that have happened in pro days, when we got injury reports back from the combine, and really get the board back, now we can start piecing that together to kind of see what is the collection of guys that we can get in that space and how can they impact our football team. The beautiful thing of what we did in free agency, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, is I really believe we can look at the draft as a situation where we take best available, which is really important. I think it's really important for this draft too, because I think just the way it is, I think kind of the top blues, I think that's condensed to
top
small
blues
early in one.
Small.
And then there's a wide range of really good starter level players that are going to range from, probably single digits all the way into 50, 60, 70. So really trying to pair where the depth is and where you can get certain guys. And like I said, just the collection of those guys I think are going to be important in terms of moving the needle for
Right,
us.
so you have to get starters here, bro.
About this position
3 of them.
as opposed to that position, or especially when it comes to offense, and maybe looking at these elite weapons, as he would say.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the cool parts of our relationship right now. That we see things similarly, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, that scares me.
Just he has a creative mind on how he can use players. So when we're watching and there's guys that can do a lot of different things, and it's kind of how I think too, is like, how can we put the opposing defense in a bind trying to figure out what we're trying to do. That's what made me feel really good about Ben too, because I've felt that playing against them. I can actually, without even talking, I can kind of feel his excitement with his body language on what guys are doing, how he can use it. You can kind of see him thinking through that. So that part's been really cool to work through.
Has a Kyler Gordon contract extension been put towards the back burner? Or is it something that could still happen this offseason after all the money and cap space that's used to this point?
Yeah, no, that'll still be a priority. For me, on our exit meetings at the end of last season, I told a lot of the guys, in terms of future, if it was contracts or coming back, anything like that, the important thing is I got to get with our current and new, the new coaching staff, and kind of see how the different players fit based on what scheme we're going to be running. So we've been able to have those conversations, and I know Kyler is a guy that we want a part of this moving forward. So the time of that, I'm not sure how that all is going to work out, but that is a priority.
Ryan, your first few drafts.
There's some good transparency.
Player at a position where it's clear you need to
be honest. We want them back.
As you kind of said, your roster has you guys have a lot of guys who could be considered starters. How does that kind of change the way, and you talk about the flexibility when you're looking at guys at 10,
Mhm.
and you might have somebody that you feel good about in that spot.
Yeah.
How's that change? I mean, good problem to have. I imagine. How did that kind of change the way that you're thinking about these things?
Yeah, you're looking at it multiple ways. One, it's like short-term, long-term thinking. Two, it's, there's certain positions, like the premium ones, where, it's not guaranteed you're going to be a spot to get one of those players.
How about get
So if you end up
the
with a
plus-
surplus,
the
then
blue
let's
plus
just figure it
player.
out after that. And
You've not
compete,
won
and the
shit
best
here.
guy wins, and if someone's got a young guy's got to wait, then he has to wait. Or other things can happen where other
That part's key right there. If a young guy has to wait,
so there's a lot of
you
different
wait.
options that can pop up.
Cannot prevent you from
We're
drafting.
kind of weighing all of those things
100%.
and put it into the equation of how we're going to handle the really all the picks, but 10 especially.
How do you weigh that in terms of like finding a franchise player like a left tackle there when Braxton's been doing this now going into year 4, but coming off the injury?
Here we go, Shane.
And going into a contract year for like himself. How do you view maybe going that route at 10, thinking
Courtney.
ahead to the future too with Baker?
Yeah, and then you throw Cron in the mix, who
He
not only
offers
do I
up
still
Cron.
think highly of him, especially going back and just watching the Washington game. There's a lot of signs of him being successful, especially the tackle position. But then he also went through a tough spot, which was the way it was set up was unfortunate. Minnesota wasn't a great outing for him.
But you love
there's
those
only
coaches.
a very small sample size there. I know that competition is gonna make the best of both those guys. So weighing that as well as just who's best available in the draft. So it's all a part of it. It makes it a little complicated when now you're talking about kind of 3 deep in that space. But I think it makes us really ask tough questions when we're watching, specifically like a left tackle. Like, is this guy going to make us better in year 1, year 2, year 3? How do we feel about our guys? Especially in the case where, Dan and Kyle and Declan really haven't had time with either one of their tackles. So there's a lot to
They can
work
watch
through,
the tape,
but I'm
coach.
confident that when we sit down and kind of talk through it and look at the guys in this year's draft, and plus we've got to see how it plays out too. There could be, if we have 2-3 guys that we think are in that spot, they may not be there at 10 either. So we'll be ready for all the different situations that can pop up.
Kind of going off that way with Caleb in place, any sense, I guess, this early where maybe some of these other quarterbacks might go this year? Is 10 like in play for a team?
Never gonna tell you.
Or where do you guys project maybe the quarterback conversation to be in this draft?
Want them all to go in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm not, for where we are right now, I'm not confident on exactly where, the first 9 picks are going to fall. But that's something that we'll look into, and we'll definitely weigh the option of, hey, if we can move back and collect.
I think he's going to go 3.
What I really believe, Adam Johns.
Wasted question.
It's been interesting to hear Ben talk about the importance of the passing game, specifically, or earlier today, we were talking about the importance of EPA in the passing game and how that actually impacts wins and losses, and it being a better indicator than even turnovers now. How has that impacted your team's scouting in terms of like having the roster reflect that desire from him?
Yeah, I think if you're a well-rounded group and you have obviously the protection from the O-line, it all matches together. So, having an O-line, not only for protection, but also to establish a run game is only going to help you create explosives on the back end. Having the receivers, able to win in contested situations, run after catch. So to me, it's all tied together, and the more balanced we are, the more successful we can be, especially.
That was my first sign of worry about Ben Johnson talking about EPA.
Give you some indication of success.
Well, it's
more than just like something simple like turnover. So
EPA.
We want to build a very well-rounded team.
Statistical
that's
metric.
capable of having explosives.
You know what
that's
this
going to
is?
help us win games.
Well, it's
I think
expected
gonna work in
points
progress
added,
to get all
man.
these things
Bears got to
sorted out
score
over
more
years.
fucking points.
And we have an opportunity to kind of
Again,
solidify that.
it's
to
the
be
most
balanced,
basic
kind of have
term
everything
in there.
to be
We need to score
successful
more.
on offense. And obviously we've invested a lot on defense too. So
But
I think it's a cool
Phil,
opportunity.
I
for us
guess
to take
it's
steps there.
deeper than
It's
that.
football.
It's,
It gives me
it's how one specific play can change the entirety of a drive.
That's another thing.
That's what you've been talking about forever.
Exactly. I've
These
been
coaches
talking
and
about it
communication,
forever.
Has been outstanding.
Got to have the right guy
he
calling
wants a
plays.
very
You're
aggressive
looking at it
attacking
more from a meat
defense, especially the
Goes
defensive line,
perspective
attacking the man
than
in
is
front of you.
looking
so
at
much
it through an
playing laterally
analytical
to
lens,
gapping
but
or even
you're both
penetrating
looking
gaps.
at it
It's
the
really
same
just
way.
attacking
It's
the offensive
very
line in front of you and creating
someone took a stat
disruption in the run
to
game,
my
and also
meat
to
and
bubble
potatoes.
back into the quarterback's
Made
feet,
it.
to make it uncomfortable
I
for
know.
the quarterback too.
So
So
it's like,
that mentality is
I mean,
is
this
definitely
is
going to be
pretty
there.
much
That's something
regurgitated shit
we'll
here.
get done, and we have a lot.
What it again? It's like if we run this play, our EPA is going to rise our expected points because of this drive, rather than Matt Nagy just like, oh fuck, we haven't done this.
Right.
In my bit in Felix's bag of tricks. We let this is cool. Let's run the fucking shovel pass to Trey Burton for the 8th time in the past 2 games. Let's do that. But you're both getting to the same point, but just in different ways. So I have zero problem with it. With him phrasing it like that.
I get it. It gives me pause.
Yeah.
I guess he's speaking to it needs a definition. It can't be just thrown out there as EPA. Well, what is the EPA?
I mean, I can give you the
I know
actual
that.
AI overview if that's what you want.
Isn't it some sort of, well, you just broke it down.
Yeah.
It's no different than.
So this is the AI overview. Just if you just type in the expected points added, it's a metric that measures how much a play changes the expected outcome of a drive based on the current situation, down, distance, field position. Here's a more detailed explanation. What it measures. EPA quantifies the difference in expected points before and after a play. It essentially assesses how much a team's drive is improved or worsened by a single play. That's the point. So when you're talking about getting
football,
when you're talking about getting under center,
get under center.
Those
how
things.
many times have I said that? Now he's talking about exactly what this network has stood on, said 100,000 times. It could be even more on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and so this goes into more detail. Why is EPA useful? Evaluating offensive and defensive performance, EPA helps analysts and fans to assess the efficiency of the offense and defense beyond basic stats like yards gained or sacks. And it's like I said, it's you're peeling back so many layers, but like I said, Phil,
let me say it for what it is for me.
You're looking at it from the black and white TV perspective, the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
You're getting to the. We have to run this play because this gives us a better fucking chance to get where we want to go.
Well, just like I was saying, we need to throw the ball deep on the first play of the game,
even
to
if you
attack downfield, even
right.
if you incomplete it, to get them to take notice that it's 3rd and 1. We've run outside zone 12 times. They're playing it.
Right. So
this
John
is
gives
where
you
you boot from it.
Case right there. And that 1 yard gain from the 1 is different than 1 yard gain from the 50. Perfect.
Well, that's one way, but 1 yard gain at the 50 when it's 3rd and 1 is a first down. And that's all I'm saying. The Bears have thrown when they should have run. They dash press when they should be under center and do all this gun shit. So hopefully he gets it to the point where the EPA is, okay, get under center, run the goddamn ball. Action will set itself up from the run. You put a priority on
Who's
running
the number one team in action? Play action.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
he is.
And what did he do? Phil, where's the easiest pathway to a quarterback? Where?
What's
right
that?
up the
right
what's
up the
easiest?
middle.
Exactly. And what did they invest in?
Which Carm said EPA? Is this
Yeah, it's CHGO Carm. Yeah.
Another guy lost. He should be on the new Lost series when they go back to the fucking island. Just take Carm and drop him off at the eye and let him throw interceptions. See what that does to a psyche, a fan base, the mental fortitude of the worst thing a quarterback can do is not going to improve by doing it more. It's just, come on. Now you're just doubling down on Idiocracy. Remember the movie Idiocracy?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the greatest comedies that it's basically happening in real life. It's definitely happening in football analysis. These producers all over network. Let's take this former tight end that doesn't know dick about football and let's put him on the air and let him talk. Let's take this other guy. He played football. It's no different. It's, do you love the game of football? Yes, that's the first check mark. Do you know how to watch football tape? Have you ever coached? Have you ever done those guys need that in order to get to analyzing. Have you done it for 10,000 hours like Shane has? No. There's a reason why this happens here. We looked at the tape. I told you, Shane told you. Justin Fields, you're in neutral. You got to get better. The quarterback is the most important position. At the same time, you have an idiot saying the rookie quarterback throwing more interceptions is better. And the idiocracy of it would be, well, look what Peyton Manning did. He threw 28.
Right. Phil, do you realize he would have made the Hall of Fame quicker if he would have thrown 40 interceptions? He would have been even better. I would love to hear the Bears media members that are promoting that nonsense and pushing that nonsense of, you know, the guy that needed to throttle down, the guy that needed to stop playing hero ball. Go rewind all of their shows pre-draft last year. Can Caleb come and can he not play hero ball? But now, since he didn't, now he needs to do it. So that's called a no-win situation right there. You're right no matter what you say. Oh, he didn't take care of the ball. He didn't do his job. He should have played more hero ball. That would have developed him more. I mean, shit, if he would have thrown more picks, maybe the Bears only would have won 5 games. Oh, wait. In no world is more turnovers the fucking solution. Only in Chicago, where nobody knows what winning fucking football and culture is. That's where that works. It's fucking ridiculous.
You ain't lying, bro.
But anyways, let's get into these supers and then we're going to get out of here. Mike G, $2, multiple Parter cause YouTube limits characters. I don't know.
Or Mike G is paying.
Yeah.
How are they limiting his characters? Should be able to put this whole thing together. Besides Membu and cornerback, what pick at 10
would piss
you off?
I think he's, you know what I think he's doing? I think he's hitting like return to like go to the next line or whatever. And it's just
return.
It's sending it. Yeah. Just type it.
I hope Mike G's there.
So Phil, do you have a list of guys at 10 that would, well, listen, we both know Membu, right?
Membu, I don't know how I survive.
Yeah.
I
obviously
don't know.
Yeah.
It's like taking Kevin White at all over again.
I'll put this out there and people are going to lose their fucking minds. I wouldn't be happy with Travis Hunter at 10. I'm just being honest.
You mean Abdul Carter?
No, Travis Hunter from Colorado.
Colorado kid.
Yeah. I wouldn't love him at 10. I have questions there.
I'm with you. Like, take him off the board.
People are probably gonna drag me tomorrow. Fine, it's fine.
No,
I'm telling you my thoughts. I'm not. I have questions. Is he talented? Yes. I think he's a better corner than wide receiver. We'll see what happens. I'm not
Ashton
there.
Genty should have won the Heisman. That's all I could say. I'm with you. I wouldn't be over the moon with Travis Hunter.
Because most of
Even
the
his
people, since
off
he's
the
a
field
mass,
stuff, as
since
good
he's
as he is, he's got
yeah.
this girlfriend. I don't think that should be off the table here.
Well, that's not.
What
yeah.
is the
Well,
Shane? The first thing, I'm dead serious. The first thing an owner or a head coach has to do is try to get this kid some help. Because if this, I'm looking at it from a social media, I don't know how much of this is what, but she's doing it. But that will mess with a young man's head like nothing else.
sure. But even so, beyond that, Phil, like we said, Membu would piss you off at 10. Obviously, the corners.
Membu.
Any wide receiver at 10, I would be fucking furious.
Yeah, I don't have a wide receiver in the top 10, so I would be furious with that. I don't. Tyler Warren would not make me happy at 10.
But you wouldn't be. I can see the yeah.
Pissed.
You'd be bummed. You wouldn't be pissed off. You'd be like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
I think we could have, because he's gonna have a role no matter what.
You're
But like,
right. Let me retort that.
here's maybe here's maybe a better question. Who, you might know where I mean, I have more names, but who's maybe some people that we're not talking about at all that will probably be in consideration, or we should be talking about more at 10. You and I talked about it a little bit today when I texted
Kenneth
you.
Grant.
Well, Kenneth, 100%.
Kenneth Grant from Michigan.
And Phil, I brought it up with you, but
Mikel Williams is going to be.
But listen, beyond the blueprint of what Dennis Allen wants for size at the position, Jihad Campbell can rush the fucking passer. He's probably not even going to make it to Chicago.
Oh, bro,
but even
I told you, I'm like,
no.
I don't see this guy as off the ball. This guy's a pass rusher, man.
But that's the fucking thing. But even Jalen Walker, like Greg Cosell came out and said people that he's talked to in the NFL believe that Jalen Walker is going to be the best pass rusher above Abdul Carter. Listen, that another thing.
I'm not a fan of huge fan. I like Jalen Walker and Jihad Campbell. They seem to have similar like body types. I mean, Carter at 10, I'm okay with. Abdul Carter, if he was at 10, I'm okay with him.
But number one pick in the draft.
No fucking way. I don't think he's that.
I don't think he's going number 1, but even number 2. Yeah, I'm not there. But no, I have 0. I know Logan chimed in that he doesn't like Kenneth Grant at 10. That just reaffirms that I love him even fucking more at 10.
And always the opposite of Logan is the way you go.
Logan's trading number 10 to Dallas for Sanborn.
Bring him back. Ralphie, come back. Jackie, come back. Here, he's up in the Philippines. Yeah, come back.
But that's the thing. So,
tongue stuck on the palm tree.
I think we all like Mike Green. I know Ivan is a huge fan.
Mike Green would. I'm cutting his. I finished his tape, so we'll be looking at Mike Green this weekend.
But in terms of who would
I love
piss me off, I mean, I like the offensive lineman, but I wouldn't be overjoyed with Josh Simmons at 10 with everything that's going on and how I feel.
He's my
I mean,
best tackle. So a lot of people have him high. I would be disappointed if they scouted these tackles and took Josh Simmons at 10. To me, it's like you sprint up to the podium and take Kelvin Banks.
So did you see the newest Field Yates mock?
Oh no, I haven't.
So it just came out. So he has the Chicago Bears at number 10, selecting offensive tackle Will Campbell from LSU. And he says the
I
new
would not be upset with
new
that.
coach Ben Johnson would love a player like Campbell whose elite foot quickness and pass protection ability fit great in his system. The Bears likely will feature plenty of zone rushing schemes in 2025. Well, so that's who he has the Bears taking at 10, but then it gets interesting here as we move into round 2. So at pick 39, he has the Chicago.
He goes to round 2.
Yeah, he has the Chicago Bears selecting wide receiver from The Ohio State University, Emeka Egbuka.
Egbuka.
And it says, as the Bears look for one more playmaker to maximize Ben Johnson's offense, they could turn to the ever-reliable Egbuka in round 2. He set the Ohio State record for catches and is a great route runner.
I do like Egbuka.
And at number 41, the Chicago Bears pick from Field Yates. They go back to The Ohio State University and select running back Quinshon Judkins. More offense for the Bears. 2 picks after I had them taking Egbuka. I have an ever so slightly higher grade on Judkins, fellow Ohio State back Travion Henderson, but Judkins can bring a better profile of power and thump to the Chicago offense that could use it. He scored 45 career touchdowns.
I can't argue with that draft. I wouldn't be disappointed at all in that draft.
Egbuka is very interesting. I happen to believe that he's probably not going to be there. I mean, anything can happen in the draft, but there is some similarities to St. Brown.
Right.
And that is interesting.
Egbuka reminds me of DJ Moore a lot. When I watch him, he's physical. He runs through tackles. I would take Beck because Beck has, if you're going receiver there, that would be my pick over. I have him over Egbuka.
Mike figured out super chat. Shane, your hat sucks. Go Cubs, go.
Cubs,
you're
go.
mad at the Dodgers now. Just wait till
Go,
the Dodgers sign. Wait till the Dodgers sign Kyle Tucker this offseason. Like, ouch. Ouch.
You know the Muffin Man, McCaskey can.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
You put that together quick.
Do that on the fly. That's what TTNL. It's what we do here.
Ivan's changing diapers and producing.
I have
Beck.
above them. Yeah,
So me and Shane are different there.
We're flip flop there. There's not huge, but if they were both available and I'm going wide receiver, I would go Egbuka over Beck.
I go Beck over Egbuka.
Yeah.
James Weston hopefully agrees with me and not Muck.
Muck is in the chat. He probably has no idea what happened earlier in the show.
I'm glad James Weston came in firing.
Yeah, he did. He
calling out.
I thought when he
dudes in
was
the
saying
chat.
that was the name he was using in the chat. Dalton Spain, $9.99. I totally agree with you, Phil, because soon as Ryan was hired, he let them give him 3 coaches to choose from instead of making his own decision. I bet before he was hired, he was told it was his decision.
Talking about the same old McCaskey shit.
Yeah, we've been there, done that. It's
Give this dude, Ryan pulls a shot, then he pulls it back. And I just
Isaac Siegel, $20. What about Hunter Wohler at 72? Quick reaction to the ball and good tackling skills. Good backup replacement for Brisker to me. 5th round look at Ricardo Hallman, cornerback, both Badgers. Yeah, and if Phil talked about it. I haven't jumped into
Wohler
Wohler
ain't
yet.
going 72. No fucking way. I see Wohler is probably going in the 5th round. Maybe he goes higher.
The guy that the Bears are connected to at 72. I mean, Tony Pauline has come right out and outright said it. Says, watch for Chicago at pick 72. Andrew Makuba, safety from Texas. Say what you want about Tony Pauline. The dude is, he's got some misses, but he's fucking connected, man.
They all miss, but
yeah.
I want Waller.
Mike G back again. I think it's draft day that has the quote, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. I hate the combine underwear Olympics.
That was actually the great Joel Bushbaum.
Yeah. Way before draft day movie.
Me and Shane were talking about this growing up. I used to buy the Joel Bushbaum book.
Yeah.
And it was like this big.
Yeah, it was a smaller, but I had it in my hand all the time at the draft.
The size of an iPad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, there were chapters on players. I still remember reading Chris Zorich's Joel Bushbaum breakdown because it went like 4 pages.
Yeah, you know who he destroyed was Cam Newton. Joel Bushbaum did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep, it was pretty scathing. Mike G is back again. $2. Restrepo in round 3, our version of Welker and Amendola.
Restrepo ran that slow 40, so that really hinders.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not even the 40. The 40 so much that bothered me, Phil. Yeah, it was a horrible. It was like 4.78 or 4.83 or some shit like that. But then he came right out and said that he was injured and he was trying to listen. You did nobody any good. If you're injured, you're injured. Don't go out there when your livelihood at wide receiver is you want to have a respectable 40 time. That's, I question his thought process there and the people around him. That was terrible. Listen, if you're hurt, you're hurt. Reschedule your time when you're not hurt and run another 40 then. It was a bad look. Now, does the kid have upside? Yes. Can he make plays? Yes. Did it hurt him? Yeah. I think it did. They're looking beyond time when it comes to that stuff.
Listen, same thing with my guy, Cam Scattaboo. There's projected times all over there. I know Chisholm didn't run very fast, but when he plays the game, you watch, he looks like he's running a 4.4, separating because he runs.
But Chisholm didn't come out and say that he was injured.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's and again, maybe it's all nothing. Who was the kid from Seattle that ran like the worst fucking 40 ever, and they picked him up as a UDFA? Yeah, I'm blanking. Somebody in the chat will have it.
The Seahawks?
Yeah, he was a UDFA. He ran like a fucking 4.9 or 4.86 or some shit. Yeah.
So I want to get into Scattaboo while someone looks that up. So this is the power of the narrators and the voices. So They report that Scadaboo ran 4.67. Then other people report he ran 4.5, 4.54, 4.57, whatever. But we watched the tape of Scadaboo, and dude is an absolute football player and someone you want on your team. He's in my top 5 running backs in this draft, without a doubt. And those types of people are always going to lose out on those football players. That's what I don't want. The Bears took a football player in David Montgomery. The Bears took a football player in Adrian Amos. I just remember looking at their tape.
That was who it was, Jake Bobo.
Jake Bobo from UCLA, right?
Yeah. But go ahead. Sorry to put in there.
You take those guys and you see what they do. They're not going to make your friend, the nerd fantasy football guy that's trying to start his podcast or has a Instagram and bought his followers and sends out 5,000 reels every day and all of a sudden builds a following. That guy is going to bash a Scadaboo until Scadaboo does great. We saw with that, who's that fucking guy? He's bashing the Bears, bashing Caleb Williams. He was a fucking leader, one of the leaders of the Justin Fields crew. Then all of a sudden he flip-flops and gets something happens to him. The Bears are paying for his ticket to go see the guy he's bashing the whole offseason. Who's this fucking guy? Remember this dude?
Yeah. There's so many
The one who got
crazy
the
people.
tickets, he was bashing everybody.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Give me a name. Give me a fucking name.
Wasn't it something Burns? I can't remember, man. I don't even fucking care at this point.
Guy. Well, anyway, that's this kind of shit. Then they come out and they flip-flop like they never said it. Could have been one of them. Connor. That's it. Connor something. That's what they do. Like, no, the goal is to look at the tape, study it, go from there. You're going to have your rankings. I get it, but you're really not going to turn your back on the reality of what it is fundamentally on the tape. Too many people do that. They go into the combine or they go into the pro day and they look at times. You're going to see it when the Bears sign all these undrafted free agents. Right?
Right.
They're going to go look. What did he run? This guy's interesting. Then you're going to look at their highlight film, and that's what it is, a highlight film. Every kid that goes and plays on a scholarship has fucking talent. Has talent. They do. They really do. Can they consistently be talented and fit? That's what we don't know. That's the whole thing of this. The great ones recognize football players. And Howie Roseman has done that. You got to give the dude his credit. He built a locker room. If we had a bunch of dogs in our locker room that were good leaders, then yeah, sign us up for Jalen Carter. That's how it works, folks. If you have a Akeem Hicks, if you have an Akeem Hicks in there, and you have a fucking Alex Brown, and you have these guys that are veterans that are professional and go to work and understand their body is their brand and how you handle it, then you can bring in that kind of kid. But if you don't have them, and we didn't, you got a lot of barkers, little fucking poodles in there in that locker room. And no one's stepping up and building a culture. Montez, Walker, all of those guys. They did not build the culture. The coach didn't build the culture. So when your leader is the corner from fucking Utah, that you got a problem. I don't want Dion leading my team as a corner. He's not going to speak for the team. I want my quarterback. I want my middle linebacker. I want my defensive end. I want my offensive center or tackle. I want that. No corner is leading my team anywhere. Let them play well.
Phil, we had a time in our lives where an offensive guard was the face of our franchise in Kyle Long for like a 2 or a 3, almost 3-year period. That's not a slight at Kyle.
No,
at all.
It's
a slight on the
guard.
Bears franchise.
He's a guard. I like Restrepo. I know he wanted to know. I do. But he's not he's not going in the third round. I will be shocked, beyond shocked, if he goes in the third round. He's gonna, because, and this is where the box has to be checked when you're playing corner and receiver in going into the NFL. There's certain benchmarks that you have to hit for those positions specifically. Running back, I could take a 4.7 guy if he is powerful and instinctive and plays through the whistle all the time, breaks tackles. Could do that. I can't take a slot receiver that runs 4.8. Just can't. They have to be twitchy. They have to be fast.
I was just looking it up. Jake Bobo was 4.99 for Seattle.
But Restrepo is so good that he should be drafted. In my opinion, I love the way he runs his routes and separates and attacks the football. He's got everything else. You're going to find that he's too easily covered. I hope I'm wrong. Now, Wayne Corbett, my teammate, guy ran a 4.49. Undrafted out of Hofstra. Played to the fucking whistle. Attacked every fucking pass like it was his last. Blocked his ass off. Was the better receiver with the Jets than the first overall pick, Keyshawn Johnson, who got so bent out of shape. He wrote a fucking book because of Wayne Corbett. Give me the damn ball. Go look at those tape. And I'm just telling you, Wayne Corbett, I would love to get him on the show one day. He's fucking one of the best athletes I've ever played with in my life. I just knew he was going to make it. In fact, the first practice we ever saw, he was trying out for the Jets. So he was in one of those what is it, Shane? The tryout when they bring after the draft. He wasn't signed. He was given a tryout, like a camp invite.
Yeah, when they have the rookie mini camp, they bring in all of those guys. I forget exactly how they phrase it.
Camp, and we're all on the hill. We're able to watch this. And this dude starts beating. I'm sorry. He had already made the team. We were at training camp at this point. But Parcells will tell the story when he took over, because the guy he made it was Rich Kotite, was the coach of the Jets, I believe, when he got a tryout. And he's beating Aaron Glenn all over the field, who's now the Jets head coach. And that kind of stuff you can't overcommit. Well, I was there when he ran a 4.49. He might have ran a 4.53 at his pro day, but he wasn't invited to the combine. But his foot quickness and he literally had a 42-inch vert. I saw it at 5'10". He would jump double-handed, fucking standing still, fucking like Dominique Wilkins. That kind of fucking power he'd get on that rim. I'm like, holy shit. But anyway, slot receivers. I love slot receivers. Chisholm is a great slot receiver. There's another, the kid from Iowa State. Great receiver there. Both of them. Jalen Noel and what's the other one? Higgins?
Yep.
Jalen and Jaden, right?
Yeah, Jaden's from Iowa State.
Both of them are from Iowa State. Yeah. My guy Besh, even though he's 6'2", he can play anywhere. Anywhere. So throw out a Marion Hampton's 4.46 40 because it just doesn't matter unless he gets it cleanly blocked. I just don't see it. I hope the Cowboys take him. Good. We'll see. There's plenty of backs on the board that are better. I like Taj Brooks. Did we answer all the other guys?
Yeah. Yeah, we got them all.
We did? We answered them all.
We did.
I talked about George enough, Shane?
Yeah, I think we've all talked about George enough.
A guy that's rated high. What do you think of the Oregon running back? Jordan James.
Yeah, I mean, I have him down. There's just so many guys that I like, Phil. I mean, again, you and I talked about it. You know, a guy that you can get late that can come in and play a role on your team is LaQuint Allen from Syracuse. You know what I mean? He's going to make plays out of the backfield for you. It's just, this is why that I'm not so, listen, I understand the fascination with Genty, and he's excellent. And he's the number one running back, like I said, comfortably.
If they picked him, you're not hating it.
I'm not going to hate it. I think that there's better. I feel like there's better pathways because this running back group is so fucking deep. I mean, Jesus.
It is deep.
Yeah. So pick one. Would you rather have, you want Ashton Genty and Ariante Irsay or Kelvin Banks and Cam Scatabo?
I want Kelvin Banks and Cam Scatabo. And I've gotten two dogs I know that are going.
James, what are you saying? You have to fucking listen what I'm saying. I am not trashing Genty at all. At all. This running back group is so fucking deep. I don't think it's critical that you have to take one at 10. You don't. Can I win with Caleb Johnson? You fucking goddamn right I can.
Yeah.
Can I win with Quinchon? Can I win with Cam? Yeah. Can I win? Yes, I can. There's lots of guys.
Putting a priority on the left tackle or the pass rush. That's you step back from this team based on the amount of backs. What's up, Skylark in Rockland, Illinois? Shout out to you, my guy. Take a step back and you look at how far is the offensive line gonna go. I don't think Ursary gets out of the fucking first round. No fucking way do these good offensive line coaches and teams aren't passing on that. So despite PFF's grades and where they rank these guys, I don't think he's getting out of the first round. Someone's taking Ursary in the first round. He's too good. He really is. And Minnesota in the Big Ten is like the redheaded stepchild, treated a certain way. But you watch his tape. I mean, what he did to Abdul Carter alone, let alone the whole fucking Iowa team. And what he did when we watched his tape, it's like, oh my God, you almost are like, maybe you got to put this guy even higher. Because it's that he's a man and he's fucking killing people.
Yeah.
So you can't just skip out and say, okay, let's take Genty. And then in the second round, we're going to get Ursary. Well, you might not. And you're choosing. Let me go to my offensive line rank here. Let's see. And you're choosing from Jonah Savanellia.
Kid from Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Marcus Mbow, who they want to move to guard. Move everybody to guard. Maybe I think Gray Zabel is going to go in the first round.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to let those guys leave. Maybe the kid, you want Ozzie Trapillo in the
Emery
second?
Hunt does.
Well, my sleeper, Charles Grant. So that's why I'm like, okay, the holy trinity of football, as Key's guy is pointing out way up here. Quarterback, pass rusher, left tackle. Is Braxton Jones the left tackle? Well, there's another key thing that Ben Johnson said. Yeah, he might not be ready for camp. Are you going into the season with an unready guy that doesn't anchor well? I'm not.
A guy that doesn't anchor well for 3 years in the NFL.
It's never gotten better.
But again, if you want to play devil's advocate, is Ben Johnson and his ability to call plays and be cognizant of that, is that going to make Braxton Jones better? Is playing next to Joe Tooney going to make Braxton better? I think the answer is yes, just like it'll make Kelvin Banks that much better or Will Campbell that much better. I get it. Another thing that you have to factor in is, what are you comfortable paying Braxton Jones? He's heading into a contract year. Let's just say Ryan Poles believes in Braxton. He goes out and he's the same Braxton, or he re-injures his foot. Big people with foot issues tend to have foot issues after that. You have to think about that stuff. What are you willing to pay Braxton? It's the same conversation that we had with Justin. Oh, you got to keep Justin. Give him more time. What do you want to pay him? Nobody would answer it.
Nobody did. Even the Colt couldn't answer it.
I don't know. I have a feeling Graham's gonna be there. That's my gut.
Well, that's the hardest draft choice for me in the history. If Graham and Banks are there, it's the hardest one for me because I have them so highly ranked in this draft. So I hope it is that.
The thing where you would have to look at,
and
Phil,
then the Bears select Armand Membu.
Let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this. And
this.
This would probably, and then we can get out of here. Let's just say the draft got weird. Let's just say Jackson Dart, not that this is going to be weird, this could easily happen. Jackson Dart moves his way up into the top 10. And whatever happens, and you're staring at Mason Graham and Calvin Banks. Then you have to look at, where do you have Mason Graham and the next defensive tackle that's going to be in reach at 39. So let's just say if it's like Tyleik Williams from Ohio State, who we're going to be breaking
He's
down.
the guy that I was thinking in my head. Like,
right. So do you have a big difference in those two?
Yes.
Versus Calvin Banks. So let me give you Pick one of these combinations.
It's too hard because
but listen,
I don't
listen.
think that what's his name is gonna make it there.
But listen. I'm just gonna put you on the spot. What combo would you prefer to have? Mason Graham and Ariante Irsay, or Calvin Banks and Tyleek Williams? But these are the things that you have to talk about.
That's the toughest one. I just go back. I think,
and the Muck. I'm gonna agree with Muck. I don't know how you can't love Kenneth Grant, and I'm not. I know Kenneth. I know Muck does, but Logan's not a Kenneth Grant fan. I could see I think Kenneth Grant is 100 going to be in play for the Bears. I do.
Oh my God, he's back. Little Phil.
Oh, look at hey Philly. Oh, you know what? It's probably Pancake Boy.
Totally. It's either Pancake Boy or the other. Like, you're an embarrassment. An embarrassment.
Yeah. Or maybe he's not doing his Chicago Bulls podcast. Yeah, it could be him too. We ain't scared of shit. It's got to be the Bulls podcast guy. We ain't scared of shit. Your football acumen
on over
fucking
here,
sucks.
bro.
You're the pussy. You're the pussy. Tell your friend to get his fucking shit out of his mouth if he wants to talk shit.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This fucking loser's on our show in our fucking chat because he hates us so much. His mother watches us more than she watches his shitty Bulls podcast. That's the best part.
Chris Foster's brother.
We intimidated, bro. We've been here longer than you have been.
Chris Foster. He outed himself with his copy paste text.
Oh, Chris Foster.
Chris. It's total Chris the coward. Look, even SAP saw it.
Yeah. Oh, there he is again. It is Chris.
Here he is.
Chris.
Aww.
Remember when Chris's grandmother?
Imagine if Chris had his own show and put his face to anything.
Dude, Chris's grandmother doesn't even fucking like him. She disowned his ass.
Well, there's our guy James Weston came on and played the ukulele. $4.99. Great show, VLC on the flip side. Yes, we'll see you there. We're not.
Everybody say goodbye to Chris and his cunt grandmother. Bye, Chris. Later, buddy. Go make a 57th account that's been banned from our airwaves. Bye, Chrissy boy. Hope to meet you someday, pussy. See you, Chrissy. Love you. Later, little Chrissy. Bye.
Just to clear up, Ivan isn't here. He was going to address the fact that he removed Brandon Fortney from the Keepin It 100 Facebook group.
Oh, he's watching right now.
Because Brandon Fortney continued to troll in a similar fashion. And I'll let Ivan address it when he comes back. But there was obviously a clear showcase that Brandon was just what's the term you had?
Oh, Brandon, listen. Some people, I think this happens a lot with us because we are very open and raw and honest with people. And they don't like it. That's why, Phil, the number one thing that we've been branded with is like the previous guy that before I knew it was Foster. They're like, oh, TTNL does nothing but trash Bears content creators. And it couldn't be further from the fucking truth. We've never went out of our way to bash a content creator if it's not warranted or they've come here first. And that's happened lots. We will just talk about it and we will use your name. I won't go to Twitter at 3:00 in the morning like some people do and carpet bomb and then walk away and try to have your minions do your penance. That's the shit that we don't do. If we have an issue with you, we will use your name live on air. You can come on, we can debate. That's fine. You think that Chris Foster would come on and debate football with us? No, he can't. He has no ability to. You know what Chris's problem is? Chris is sitting at his house on his fucking couch trying to figure out why his third marriage fell apart. And he's looking at Shane and Phil and saying, you know what? Those guys are up there. Those guys are getting paid to talk about the Bears. I could do that. I want to do that. I'm just as smart as those guys are. You know what, Chris? Internet's a big fucking place. Go start your own podcast. It's a big place. Go do it. Put in the time. Put in the money. Put in the effort. See if you make it. We've been around a long fucking time, and I don't give a fuck if you don't like us. Phil and I have had the peaks and valleys, and you motherfuckers think you're Netflix, and you guys are scumbags, and you guys rip apart Bears content creators. No, we don't. No, we don't. We'll just handle our business up front, live, and we'll use names. We're not going to carpet bomb and then go sit in a back room and let somebody else do the job. And you don't like it. That's just like we've said. If you have a problem with us, or if you want to debate football, or just like with James, you just want to come on and shoot the shit about football, it's open. We've tried sending people links to come on. I can remember when we had a problem with Peter Bukowski. I DM Peter, and he's like, I'm not coming on your little show to give you guys exposure. I'm like, who the fuck are Peter? Do you think you have that much of a fucking draw? I mean, honestly. And he's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. And Peter came on. Peter got fucking slapped around by Phil, and he hasn't been back since. That's fine. But we also know the game that Peter plays. Exactly. But should Phil and I get better at handling shit like Chris Foster? Yes. And I've told Phil, we got to let the shit go. Then we hit go live, and then I fucking lose my mind with people. It happens. We're probably never going to change. But you know what? Deal with it. We ain't changing. We're going to be who we are. We're set in our ways. If you don't like us, go someplace else and watch. Don't care. Don't need you. You think we're dumb? We don't know what we're talking about? You think we're racist because we didn't want Justin Fields while we're promoting Caleb Williams? Still haven't figured that one out. We crashed the Lambo. Right, Cool Kennedy? I mean, come on, please. It's bullshit. We're still here. We ain't going anywhere.
I couldn't say it any better. It is what it is. Foster continues his 37th.
Well, 50.
Oh, he's 57.
Yeah, he's got about 30 Chris Fosters.
I mean, it's on a psychosis level I've never seen.
It is. And listen, that's the thing. I don't give a shit if it's who we're talking about. You brought up Pat's name tonight. Good for Pat. Pat's doing great. Pat, Swifty. They can all. Internet's a huge place. They're all successful in what they do, and that's fine. Good luck to them all. We do what we do. That's great. Go do your thing, fellas. Go do your thing.
David Scott, I don't get how anyone who loves the Bears or even football can not like you guys. It's insane to me. Absolutely insane. Football truths Well, that's what we do. A lot of people
But-
don't like the truth, to be
Right.
honest with you, David.
This is Bill says it perfectly right here. Too many people want you to have their opinion. Bill, we just dealt with this and whatever. It is what it is. And I'll use the guy's name. We have a patron, Nick. He knows who he is. We broke down a player in Tyler Warren that he's a big fan of. And he accused Phil and I of only using tape to show the bad plays of Tyler Warren, which is bullshit. We don't do that. We show everything. We've always showed everything. But if you disagree with us, that's fine. Just don't come to us and say that your fucking process is wrong because I disagree with you. Our process is our process. And that's why we do this every day. Just because we disagree on a player doesn't mean that it's personal or the process is wrong. Phil's missed on guys. I've missed on guys. Nick, you've missed on guys. The Bears have missed on guys. Pat's missed on guys. Swifty's missed on guys. Even Greg Gabriel has missed on guys. Everybody has. It's the nature of the business. If you're batting 250, you're pretty fucking good at your job in the NFL when it comes to player acquisition. It's just the way that it goes. Deal with it.
I'm always fighting for the truth, and I'm batting over 250. I'll tell you that. I know that. That's what infuriates
I wasn't
me.
talking
You're
about
ahead.
I'm just
No,
I'm talking in general.
I'm saying if the RGM was batting 250, I'd be happy. I worry. 10th pick. If I had to choose any guy, 10th pick, as I put my guy James Weston on the spot. He said Graham.
I don't think he ever
Genty.
answered, did he?
No, he said 3 guys.
Yeah.
Graham, Genty.
But you can't draft 3 guys at 10.
I know. So Graham would be his guy, right?
Yeah, probably.
If I would say mine would be Kelvin Banks. I would have to get him on this football team. Just solidifying the left tackle position and not having the drama of getting folded and
I get it.
pushed back into Caleb Williams.
But that's
let
the thing.
alone the run blocking that this
Right.
guy brings to the table.
But that's the thing, and this is what we've been trying to teach people. Everybody can be like, "Oh, I like Banks, just not at 10." When we can get him at 18, you don't know that.
These
You
other
don't
teams
know that.
love this trash Banks. Mel Kiper, call him a guard. Do that. I know. Okay. The percentage has gone up when you have me, my father, then Steve Edwards, and other people I know looking at Kelvin Banks tape this year and the year before. Now, I don't see any drop off. All I see is a guy that played through an injury. When you add that to the table, and he played a hell of a football season, and his team went to the playoffs for a reason. Him.
Yeah.
Ewers ain't that fleet of foot and isn't escaping. Now he'll have obviously Texas will have a guy that will be able to do that, but that's who I'm picking at 10. If it's me.
Yeah.
All said and done. If I had all the choices, I just think finally, now you've rebuilt your whole line.
Right.
And there ain't no soft in Banks. He plays to the whistle. So I answered it for my guy, James Weston. He wanted my. There you go. I don't have to question if that guy. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be upset with Graham or a few other guys we'll save for other shows. But gun to my head, all of the guys on the board, that would be my pick.
I hear you. So I'm not going to run through. I'll just share it real quick. And then we can get the fuck out of here finally because I wanted to leave like an hour ago.
No, I wanted to leave a half hour ago. Cyro, I'll say this. They ain't giving nobody anything. They're going to say it's a competition, but the cream will rise to the top anyway. And that's the right thing to do. You don't just give it to the rookie.
So I did a different mock draft with a massive trade down.
Oh boy.
And let's see what we came away with. I just ran this in the background while Chris Foster was jerking off on his grandmother's couch.
1 minute we have. No, we have 5 seconds.
All right. So the Bears went from pick 10 down to pick 29. They made a trade with the Washington Commanders. The Bears got back the Commanders' first, second, and fourth, and their first rounder next year for pick 10 and pick number 72. So down at this is going off that everything checks out with James Pierce, obviously. So at pick 29, we went edge rusher James Pierce from Tennessee. Pick 41, we did another trade down from 39. So pick 41, we took Xavier Watts.
Ursary gets a C+.
Yeah.
In the second round.
We traded down, like I said, from 39 to 51 and picked up an extra third rounder.
Never disappoint us.
At 51, Cam Scadabo. 61, Ariante Ursary. I think Joshua Farmer is an underrated defensive lineman from Florida State.
Good player.
I do.
I am with you.
Yep.
I like both your D linemen there.
Bill, our guy from Boise, underrated. Hassanin, or however you say it, Ahmed from Boise.
I love
edge
the
rusher.
Billy Bowman pick.
Oh, yeah. It's in my top 5 safeties.
A good draft.
And then Aronde Gadsden and Malachi Moore. So, listen, the way that I look at it, we have our safety core for 2026 locked and loaded. Malachi Moore will be, spot duty. Xavier Watts is going to come in here and start. Just the way that it is.
Hey, I like it. You got me two of my favorite guys in the draft, Scadaboo and Ursary. I'll add Hassanin. I love Billy Bowman Jr. too. And Xavier Watts. I worry about Pierce, but Pierce's game.
Oh yeah, and again, good. I worry about Pierce too because of the stuff, but I'm just basing it off. We don't have access to that, and I'm basing it off.
Where's the center, Shane?
Well, our center is starting, and we gave him a big contract from Atlanta.
Bullets downgrading centers, not drafted. No one from Utah, Shane?
Yes, I signed their 5th string tight end, Ben.
There you go.
As a UDFA.
Undrafted.
Yeah.
David Scott says he would call this the best case scenario.
Well, you got to look at it, man. I'm giving you an extra first rounder next year. So when Washington fails to live up to expectations as a team, then we get to cash in again next year with an extra one.
There you go.
So, yeah, they're fun to do. Doesn't mean that any of them are going to
do my mock draft. I've had 2 A+ mock drafts already. Now I got a challenge. Is there another draft simulator?
Yes, PFN. We can do one and bring it up to switch it up a little bit. Yep.
Ariante Ursary getting a C- at 61 is like, and are they going to apologize when he?
Well, that's the thing. And again, you can change the settings, and like with the guys last night, I pushed the randomness up, to have it be even different because listen, it gets a little bit monotonous after a while when you're like, oh, why am I drafting a tight end in round 3 when I could just get Gadsden in round 7 because he's always there? hold me to it. I think Gadsden's going in the 3rd round on draft day.
Let's see if he predicts that right. We should play that game next week. Who is going higher?
I think we're all big Pierce guys, Muck. It depends on, there's a lot of bad shit out there about him, not in terms of, him being a felon or something like that, but it's
a bad locker room presence, a Debbie Downer.
Very, very concerning when your college coaches are potentially making comments like, glad he's gone, wasn't bought in, didn't want to practice, blah, blah, blah. So
there you go. This weekend we'll be breaking down defensive ends, pass rushers. If you're a patron, maybe more. Just waiting for this guy to cut some of them as well. I definitely would be Mike Green.
The best part about that picture isn't even Vargas. It's Larison in the back looking at Ivan take the picture. Yeah.
And he's laughing.
Yep.
Is that Austin Reed too?
And Austin Reed, yeah.
Yeah, there he
There's
is.
backup quarterback Austin Reed right there.
Still on the roster.
Yeah, he is. He
But
is.
This
My
is a
guy.
good point by Logan. We do have Grady Jarrett, who's already taken the team D line under his wing.
You still gotta be leery, man. You give a dude some big time dollars like that when you're going in the 1st round of the draft. These guys, you gotta be sure. I love the talent. We've looked at him. We've taken him in a couple of mock drafts, and we can't break down every guy. But
it's very hard. There's a lot of guys like Derek Harmon. I love Derek Harmon. He reminds me of Akeem Hicks.
Yeah,
I was a big Akeem Hicks fan. Anyway,
we all were. Keeping it 100, Phil. Every Wednesday, 8:30. We will be back again next week, and this is what you'll see. See you later.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.